Fun fact about this video before we get started. There's some things that I have to reveal, right? You may notice that there was less race jokes and things that I put into this video in particular in comparison to the ones that I did previously. This was not by choice. While making this video, I was uploading segments and different clips to my main YouTube channel and testing them against what YouTube would allow and wouldn't allow. And unfortunately, there are 50 separate clips that I had to remove entirely from the video purely because YouTube had decided that the things I had said upset the AI enough that it wouldn't allow my video to be viewed by others. So I think my main channel may have been flagged. Yeah, the YouTube tells you nothing, so I can only guess that I think my primary channel has been flagged, and I've stopped giving a fuck. So if it happens in the future, the only thing I care about is it blocking content. If the video stays demonetized, then fuck it. It stays demonetized. But I'm not going through the rigmarole of spending like an entire goddamn week cutting out 50 clips that I think were personally very funny just to appease the YouTube algorithm. I hate it so much. I hate this thing that YouTube does where they bend you over a fucking table, fuck you in the ass, and then they say, no, we're not a publisher. No, we're just changing the English language and the way everyone speaks. Oh, you said the word rape? No, you're supposed to say struggle snuggle. You say rape, we ban you. We block you. We do like, so I fucking hate that. I hate that shit. So the next time I'm editing a video, fuck it. If it gets demonetized, I'm just gonna leave it in a demonetized state. YouTube used to be cool. It keeps getting worse now with censorship. It does. It actually does. It's legitimately terrifying how bad it is. Every year had ups and downs. Unfortunately, a lot of the downs make the ups forgettable. I mean, that's one way to talk about banging Down syndrome chicks, Chielde. I hope at least when you were all the way in, you were like, let me put some more DNA into you. You don't have enough chromosomes yet. I mean, you know the quote, right? Hey, if she's down, I'm down. But yeah, so I'm not going to do this again. If my videos get demonetized, fuck it. They stay demonetized, but they will stay up. The only time I will ever bother altering things ever again is if YouTube blocks my content from being seen by people. That's the only time I will bother. Let's continue the filthy, fucking disgusting React content centipede of Mukluk has his mouth attached to my ass, and I have my mouth attached to his ass, and we're just going in a circle. It's not even really a content centipede at this point, it's a content donut. And each time we go around the circle, it gets longer and worse. I'm very interested to see what he thought of this one. I wonder what he's going to pick up on. There's a very particular joke I put in here, in this video, specifically for him. And I want to see if he saw it. He might miss it entirely, because it's really fast.
All right.
Also, this is probably going to be a lot of blurred out shit by Noxy.
For those that don't know, there is another streamer, another content creator, YouTuber named Rose MMO. And Rose has...
God damn. Look at that content centipede. I'm proud of that trash. Look at that. This is impressive. You know how when, like, you look at garbage and it goes from disgusting to, like, I'm not even mad anymore. How did you let this happen? Look at that shit. It just carries on forever. You can't even see the first video. Jesus Christ.
Reacted to a few of my videos, and I've reacted to a few of his videos. We go way back, as you can see here. Now, Rose recently made a video on Guild Wars 2, and I have watched his recent one.
Man, fuck, that's so bad. Just look at this. Look, you can see my hairline recede. Over here, I'm wearing a beanie, but I promise you I had more hair here than I did here. Look what Guild Wars 2 did to me. Look what this fucking game did to me.
Video on Guild Wars 2. And I have watched his recent ones. Minus one that went a bit, the PvP one. I loved it. I
got him with the PvP one. I got him with the PvP one. The PvP... Oh, god damn it, that fucking camera's broken. The PvP one was so bad, he refused to watch it on stream. I won.
Watched it. I don't think I could do that one on stream. So this one, I'll let you guys know right now for my community, this is not PG. It's not that bad, but it toes the line a little bit.
This one
have been warned.
This one in particular is not that bad, not because I wanted to make it less bad, but purely because the YouTube algorithm kept on flagging me for everything. Fuck, that triggered my autism hard. Love the vid, still run around with a non-NG healer and a flamethrower. Good. That's the way God intended you to play this game. It should be the canon couple for Guild Wars 2 content. Yeah. Animalworm, if you're gonna do fan art, do me the favor of putting me on top. And if you're gonna put someone in the cuck chair watching, it has to be Noxie crying.
This is his latest video, which is why everyone loves Guild Wars 2. 1 to 80, the end. Again, might want to put the kids to bed for this one. All right. Yes, this is the...
No, make the kids watch this. These little shits need to toughen up. I watched Simba get thrown off a goddamn cliff. Oh, no, it wasn't Simba. It was Simba's dad. Mufasa. I watched that motherfucking lion die. So can you. These kids need inoculation.
First frame. Here we go. Oh, as always, I encourage you guys, if you want to see the full thing unfiltered, if there's anything really bad, I'm going to filter it out. So,
what's up, Joe? How
the
you
original
doing?
the original video link is down below if you want to watch that one first. Okay, here we go.
I'll be your doggy if you stay with me tonight. What do you say?
Today's subject, unconventional warfare tactics.
We no longer live in an age where a man has to look into the eyes of his enemy to run his target's uninstallation program. Long gone are the days...
Okay, I'm immediately... Okay, I don't understand the first bit with the Asura. I don't know what that was about. I know when...
The part with the Asura is that they're all a bunch of fucking degenerates. And I'm trying to prove a point here. That they're all just a bunch of sick fucking degenerates. All the points after this are just gun memes and shit because I was playing an engineer.
His other videos, he was playing an engineer. I'm assuming that the guns is going to somehow connect to the fact that he was playing an engineer before.
Absolutely not. All of these beginning clips are just to try and indicate how fucking schizophrenic this entire part is. Because I lost my goddamn mind with how many clips YouTube made me erase. Honor, dignity, and the time-honored tradition of tax evasion through...
The Killdozer.
That man was a hero. Keep him in your hearts. Never let his memory die. We should have a national holiday for that guy. Lead implantation. Anyone stuck in the past is a fool. Anyone stuck in the present is a coward. But most importantly, this video is not going to make much sense because the voices in my head continue to be too loud, and it turns out I have no idea how to finish this Guild Wars 2 series. So if you stick around to hear the schizophrenic ramblings of a man that's been unhinged by the Guild Wars 2 story, then that's a you problem. This is the end of my core...
You heard him, chat. It's a you problem.
Playthrough of Guild Wars 2. It definitely had its ups and its downies. So come with me one last time as the Guild Wars 2... It's not my fault that they've got a few extra chromosomes. Don't oi me. Look at that fucking... Look at this thing. Look at this disgusting creature here. You're telling me this thing isn't a crossbreed between a midget and a potato? Come on. Come on. Two devs wage an entirely new form of psychological warfare on my fragile mental state that now makes me understand how they
Is that Laura?
Managed to get... That is Loranity. Props to her for doing this in socks and not baiting the feet crowd. She knew exactly what she was doing. Well played to her. She knew she was saving her career from some severe harassment. by wearing socks while doing this shit. Is that Noxy next to him? I don't think that's Noxy. I think that's one of his characters. It's like, you know when like you have like a Down syndrome animal, or like you have like a really fuck ugly pet, but you still love them. I'm assuming that's what this thing is down here. You're the karma of Muck making fun of Norns for years. Yeah, pretty much. Gaslight their player base into enjoying jumping puzzles, while also getting
Definitely, Laura.
45-year-old men with a few hours to spare each night who enjoy...
What is this?
There is no depth I will not plunge to make a joke. This took me days to find the clips to do this. Days.
Okay, first of all, I'm a little impressed. Because this means he took old footage of me, and he cut it out to green screen it onto something else. I'm a little impressed by the effort he...
I didn't cut him out. That's not what I did. There's a clip that Mukluk fucked up on a very, very long time ago. So what's up, Gilberto? Thanks. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So, this is actually one of the cases where I didn't actually use rotoscoping. Mukluk fucked up in a really, really old video of his, where he's got himself talking, and the green screen is, like, not, gone. It's just there. And I'm like, damn, I gotta use this clip somewhere.
He went through for this one joke. What was the original footage? That's
with a few hours to spare.
Okay, I was looking at some horrifying Asura here in the background.
Each night who enjoy playing... He was looking at his porn stash, and he just left it live. What was I supposed to do? Online Barbie, instead of finishing the main story quest line. This is the one where I hit level 80 and actually get to play the... Also, I just gotta say, quick note, right? Fuck, I don't know how to do that. That main story quest line. This is the one where... A quick side note. As a baseline character that hasn't done anything more than just a base game, the fact that you hit level 80 and your character looks like that looks so fucking cool. I am using the arrow keys. I'm using the left and right. That jumps by 5 seconds. It doesn't do it frame by frame. I'm not sure which keys do frame by frame. But I really like the fact that by the time you hit level 80, your character actually looks fucking cool, but doesn't look like a goddamn highlighter. Frame scrolling is comma and dot. Hey, look at that. Thank you. That's going to make things a lot easier. I hit level 80 and actually get to play the game from here on out. It's all been leading up to this moment. He missed that one. God damn it, he missed it. He completely missed this. He didn't even notice. I was worried that he wasn't going to see this. I needed to put this like front and center. Play the game from here on out. It's all been leading up to this moment. Every painstaking...
I hate that phrase. Actually play the game. That's such a World of Warcraft phrase. Like, it's like, oh, you get to max level. Now you can start playing the game with your...
Actually, that's a complete misnomer. That is not a World of Warcraft phrase, because when you play World of Warcraft, the leveling takes so fucking long that it's part of the experience. Here's the problem, and here is exactly why I say that. When you go through the Guild Wars 2 experience, you are limited in specialization. You go through the whole world, right? And only then, when you get to level 80, do you unlock extra specializations. Do you unlock how to play the game? Do you unlock all the abilities and gear? Then you can go everywhere and get all the hero points that you need. Until such a time as you get access to your full character, every moment prior to that is you figuring out how the fuck does this character play. And then when you get to level 80, they give you a bunch more shit to figure out as well.
Your friends. Yeah, and it's like, I firmly am like, Guild Wars 2 is not like that. You can play the game from the beginning. Like, it does matter from the beginning.
Hard disagree. Personal story doesn't matter, that drops off. Main questline story doesn't matter because you take a little tinkle on Zhaitan and he falls out the sky. Hard disagree. I can understand why he's saying that. Because he's a Guild Wars 2 show. No, he's saying that because he loves the game and there's a lot of good personal stories that you get out of Guild Wars 2. But the one I got with the Sylvari was lackluster as fuck. That's the problem. Really bland cutscene. Every well-endowed Norn woman we've come across, every moment of enjoyable gameplay and underwhelming story has led us here. And like a goddamn soldier being chased down by a $5 drone with a grenade strapped. Guess which piece of content that YouTube was fine with? It was this one. Me saying bad words? Nah. Grenade, drone, coming after some dude? Perfectly fine.
Noxy, I don't think you need to edit this out. I'm just shocked right now.
Good. I've held my composure under pressure. I have ascended! No longer will I sit here be— This motherfucker. I wanna see if he recognizes that someone did a cosplay of me in this game. I wanna see if this registers in his head. Because if this is instantly recognizable, I'm gonna go fucking hang myself. Being abused like the cucumber your mother keeps in the fridge and tells you never to touch. No longer—
Oh my god. Oh. Wow.
We got him coughing.
Will I be the shredded lettuce that gets taken out by some bullshit mob with a barely pronounceable name? I am a goddamn machine of steel and leaves, and it's time to fight a motherfucking dragon!
Oh, yeah, Chad, he hasn't fought Zhaitan yet at this point in the—
I think you accidentally skipped a bit. I don't think I did. If there's bits missing, I'm assuming that's because Noxy, chopped them out. Because, you know, he has to be more family friendly than me to keep up the illusion that he cares about the children and what happens to them.
Recording. Yeah, he's really got something to look forward to, doesn't he? Wait. You better believe I'm gonna pause. Her, do that thing. Me. Veteran toxic worm queen.
No, don't read the
Gun.
fucking... Don't read the worms. It's flailing around. Come on. God damn it.
Okay.
I didn't make that clear
regret
enough.
pausing.
That's my fault. I actually wonder if I made this exposition too long where I'm not speaking. Maybe I should have just cut this whole fucking thing out.
The dead ships.
Is there a VOD of your 2-hour rant after the Zhaitan fight? No, I had to cut, I cut all of that out because I realized it would be boring as fuck to listen to me sit there and just bitch about the Zhaitan fight for 2 hours. But I am, Cyro, considering taking that content and actually making a video on how to not make a boss fight for, as a more general thing in MMORPGs, where I make a video saying how to not design a boss fight if you want people to actually like your fucking game. Because I'm so mad. I'm so butt-fuckingly mad about the fact that every single time I play a new MMORPG, whenever there's big enemy, it sucks. There's always big enemy fight, and you're like rubbing his nuts, or you're like stabbing his butthole with a knife, and you gotta imagine at that size, shit. Zhaitan, if we stabbed his butthole with a legendary sword like Kalidbolg, he's sitting like, God damn, do I have tapeworms? He's not feeling it. He'll get a little bit itchy, maybe. He's not feeling that shit.
Okay, we saw Zhaitan in his final throw, so I guess he finishes him in this one. The Guild 2 leveling experience. The definitely has to be good. There's no way they screwed this up. Final battle.
In the business, we call that foreshadowing.
I guess if you haven't fought Zhaitan yet, you might not want to watch this.
Oh no, you haven't fought Zhaitan? Oh fuck. Oh no, you might be spoiled. You might be spoiled, guys, by a fucking 14-year-old game. Damn. That's nearly above the legal age limit for YouTube Minecraft Let's Players to date. Shit. They better go on that.
Who remembers when Zhaitan was
before we
part
get
of the
into it,
dungeon?
I think it's time I told you about today's sponsor, Geneva. and their non-existent conventions.
Oh my
Because
God.
in my darkest moment, in the depths of only still being level 51, while the depression of knowing that I will never be a PvP master of Guild Wars.
Oh yeah, in his last video, he did.
And hold on, that was Traherne cleansing the ore puddle. Oh, you mean Traherne's toilet? The big fucking toilet where we walk him to the bathroom so he can take a fucking dump in the handicapped stall?
PvP for a few weeks and proceeded to get spanked for a few weeks.
Too, because I neither have the attention span nor the time had not yet fully set in. Came the bright. Unironically, even if I was getting the shit kicked out of me in PvP, I was having a good time playing it. It absorbed me for way too long. It like put my schedule on everything back because I was wasting way too much time playing it. Beautiful. Burning dawn.
You know, it's the weirdest thing.
So he discovered the flamethrower kit. Is that what this is leading to?
Yes.
I've been playing this game for hours now, and I keep forgetting that I have more than 5 abilities. I've just been selecting random stuff. I mean, what the hell does this button even do?
Yeah.
I'm in. Dude, did he make this? That is.
To answer that question, did I make that? Yes. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there on the wall behind me. I made that. I made the whole fucking thing from scratch. I had to like pull images of the Guild Wars 2 fucking flamethrower because it's impossible to get any STL file or OBJ file out of the actual game and then just convert it and then 3D print it. So I had to rebuild that fucking thing from scratch just to make that flamethrower for a few of these scenes. I went autism mode on this shit. I was overkill. It was really overkill. I shouldn't have done it, but I couldn't help myself. I needed to.
This is a physical replica of the in-game flamethrower.
Yep.
Did he make this at home?
Yes. From scratch.
I mean,
From scratch. 3D files. I CAD'd the whole goddamn thing out myself. I had to do it in different segments, different components, then assemble it, make sure it was the right size, make sure the ratio matches my hand, and there's still fucking mistakes on it. There's still plenty of mistakes on it.
this guy was willing to tape spray painted leaves to himself for a previous episode, so I know he puts in the effort, but this.
Those leaves were so fucking itchy. Like it fucked up my skin for a good week. God, it was so painful.
This is impressive. Doom music. Oh, sir, an orphanage? What?
You know what? I'm gonna show you something special today. After this clip, I'm gonna show you something special because this is not the original. This is not the original clip.
Doom music. Oh, sir, an orphanage? What?
Yeah, they deserve it. It's target practice.
Oh my god.
I was
Okay, now that's what I had to change out for YouTube to allow me to publish my video. I'm gonna show you the original, and I want you to tell me, is this bad enough that YouTube should disallow this from being on their platform? Please, God damn it.
Dude, I'm gonna surrogate. I can still laugh at that.
following orders. Okay, sure. Maybe I should have aimed at the big zombie dragon in the sky, but who's
What did it flag you for? Inappropriate content and then blocked it in all countries.
to say that those children at the Azuran orphanage aren't in on his plan somehow? Can you really look at one of these hideous, malformed, disgusting
right.
faces?
I'm right. I'm right. Don't be mad at me. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And the game put these ugly fucks in Guild Wars 2 and ruined their game. Took it from a 10 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10. It's not my fault.
Don't listen to him.
And think that I, their obvious savior from life, am not doing them a favor
Savior from
by
life.
toasting them like a
Yes.
fucking strudel in an oven. This is ridiculous. You try to do the world a favor, and you get sent off to bum nowhere by the vigil.
Also, you'll notice I had to censor the shit out of everything in this, because every time there was a swear word, it kept on getting flagged as inappropriate content and then being blocked in all countries, which pissed me the fuck off. So I'm trying to figure out a way around that.
To recruit a bunch of tribal frogs to the cause for some reason. Granted, by white people standards, their ability to jump is impressive, but I
Oh my god.
don't think that means they really stand a chance against something that can, you know, fly. At least it's not all bad. At least our buddy Forza Racing stuck by our side this entire time. It's a good thing nothing bad's ever going to happen to him, and that not even the Guild Wars 2 devs are dumb enough to take that away from us.
Foreshadowing.
Stupid French assholes. I bet I could jump that high if I tried.
Also, turns out assholes is fine to say.
Why are the frogs French?
Mukluk just proved how Americanese he is. Calling the French frogs is a time-honored tradition. It goes all the way back to when we found out they ate frogs' legs. Way back before I was born. Way back before I was even a sperm cell in my dad's nutsack. It is a time-honored tradition to call all French people frogs. That's just how it is. That's how it works. It's just a thing, right? You call the French frogs because of their obsession with eating frogs' legs and weird shit like that. And the funny part is, the ironic part is, the Americans were the ones who did it first. They called them frogs.
My legs.
What's important to acknowledge at this stage is that is no longer the mystery meat that no
Was this when Asmund tried cooking a steak?
one knows the origin of anymore. He's a You know what's real fucked up about Asmongold's cooking a steak? Maybe I'm too far gone, but I don't think his steak actually looked that bad. Well-defined and well-understood threat to the rest of Tyria. And if we would like even the slightest chance of beating him, we're going to need bodies to feed into that undead meat grinder. While I, the obvious main character, do something important while everyone else dies a miserable but forgettable death off-screen somewhere else. So the only true solution I see to getting pegged down by the undead is to strap on my Elon Musk-approved not a flamethrower and run at my problems like he runs away from the woman he keeps getting pregnant. And oh, don't look at it. Did I lie? You know it, I'm destroying the entire religion of a bunch of sun worship. How many cum sprites does Elon have right now? How many women has that guy blown a fucking load in and then just left? Motherfucker's a true African. He doesn't even know what a condom is. He's a billionaire and he still won't buy fucking condoms. The truest of Africans. God, I love Elon for that. Shipping super soldiers. But at least by winning their version of the UFC, I now get to take them on their white boy summer arc. And that means we have an army. Now we just need to teach them to wield more than sticks and rocks, and how to fight back against the Australians.
Now, as much as I would...
Oh, you mean Mukluk? Wait, hold on. Now Mukluk made a video about your video. Yeah, he made a video about my video. We've been doing this for a while. We've been doing this for a year, Eddie goes pro. We've been going back and forth. I heard Mudlock. I thought there was some other guy. I'm like, who the fuck is even this dude?
Like to Terry Davis my way.
He's in a wheelchair because of the jump earlier.
Down this main line.
Listen to what I say here, right? Listen to what I say here. This is very important.
Davis my way.
He's in a wheelchair because of...
Right? So this got flagged as well in the original clip, and I needed to re-record this.
Now, as much as I would like to Terry Davis my way...
He's in a wheelchair because of the jump earlier.
Down this mainline questing thought process.
So you see how I said, now as much as I'd like to Terry Davis my way down this mainline questing thought process, do you know why I said it like that? Is because when I said the original of, now as much as I'd like to Terry Davis my way down this thought, I got flagged for inappropriate content. for making fun of suicide. When we all know that Terry Davis was taken by the FBI.
Wait, how long is this video? Oh my god.
As a now fully formed vegetable, have had an idea. This MSQ level locking garbage where I have to wait.
He missed it. Mukluk's off his game today. God damn, he missed it. I'm in a wheelchair calling myself a fully formed vegetable. God damn it.
Until I hit some multiple of 10 in order to experience any degree of story questline whatsoever it's just beyond, and it's really
I said retarded, and YouTube was fine with that. But Terry Davis and no.
starting to chafe on my. Now, obviously, I'm not going to hop
Noxie, I don't like that sentence. Do something about that.
No, Noxie, leave it alone. Come on, that wasn't that bad.
on this too much because I've already done so in every other video I've made. But it is a recurring annoyance. And the more I think about it, it's not alone in being that. So far, Gated World 2 has been this
Gated World 2. All right, I will agree. The every 10 levels thing, I do agree with that one. It's
so fucking stupid. The whole 10 levels thing is so fucking stupid. There's a point I made later that I think I cut out a portion of my explanation that I shouldn't have. So I'll explain it now, like when we get to that part. But it is so beyond retarded that they cut, like they block you from playing through the levels just in one smooth motion.
I believe when the game first came out, they didn't make you wait till level 10 to do the level 10 stuff, but the result of that was people were just doing the level 10 quest line at like level 3 or 4 and getting the black lion key and then deleting it. And basically they were doing the black lion key farm very, very rapidly every week. And so one of the solutions that ArenaNet had for that was to make it to where, you know, they were gated behind increments of level 10.
Yeah, that's the dumbest shit ever. Then you change the Black Lion keys to be account bound, as opposed to changing the levels of the story. That's dumb as fuck.
And it is kind of odd. It is kind of odd because like you might be doing this really cool story from, you know, like 60 to 62, and then you're doing like weird stuff that has nothing to do with it from 62 to 70, and then really awesome story from 70 to 72, and then filler stuff you don't really care about from 73 to 80, and then really cool story again.
LGLD, NCSoft wanted money, so they changed it. You're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong about that. The keys are account bound. They are for the loot box system. So if it's account bound, then there's even less of a reason for them to ever level gate any of the main questline story. The MSQ should not be main questline gated at all. It should not be gated behind every 10 levels. You should just be able to go from level 1 to level 80 doing nothing but the story, because you can do a bunch of different shit to get to level 80. Why is the story so fucking bad? Why put all these shitty limitations on a system that would be a lot smoother if you just let it play? As bad as the story is, as unengaging as some of the characters are, it would be less frustrating if they just let you play through the game.
So like I totally get that. I do agree with him, not as aggressively, but I do agree with him.
Amazing showcase of exceptional ideas. But the problem is some of these executions feel like they came straight out of North Korea. Look, I'm not saying
I don't know enough about that to make any comparisons.
Oh, he knows. He knows. Yeah, that's called covering your ass. In the industry, we call that covering your ass. Some of the executions in Guild Wars 2 are straight up out of North Korea. And it'll make sense what I mean now.
saying they're all bad. I'm just wondering why you would leave some of these on show if they were just gonna starve to death anyway. I know, variety, everything game. Aya flavored gamer girl sweatbot.
Stagulkin stain.
By the way, that's the real ArenaNet headquarters lobby. I heard that they moved this somewhere else because it kept on getting emptied out and like people kept on breaking the front glass to get what's inside.
We know he had a big thing for Erstagulkin from his previous videos.
Sold at a...
You mean I was correct about Erstagulkin? That's what you mean. Is I had the correct opinions.
reasonable price in the ArenaNet main headquarters lobby. But guess what? Why bother implementing a good idea and then not making it good like they've proven they can do in other cases?
Oh, it's me. Wait, what?
Yes.
What is it? This is me fighting Ura,
Yes.
which I've done exactly one time.
Yes, but I watched a bunch of other people play Ura. I saw the mechanics of it. I saw the way it's got its good indications on the ground. It's a fun, engaging fight. And I know there are a bunch of other fights that are enjoyable and entertaining that when you look at them, you're like, damn, that was fucking fun. I can't remember the name of the one. There's like a water boss that you fight on a platform, and the platform keeps on changing. And it's not just a same repetitious pattern. And it looked fucking cool. Twin Logos, that's it. I think that's it. Right? It was fucking cool. It didn't just look enjoyable to play through. Watching it was fucking fun. So they've proven, this is what's so upsetting about Guild Wars 2, is the devs have proven that they are capable of doing this. It's like that hold on. This is the only way I can think to correctly describe the guild, like the fact that the Guild Wars 2 devs went from the base game to like actually fun, good, challenging raids is this clip right here. This is the only way I can think to describe the devs of Guild Wars 2, right? Especially when you look at the base game versus what they are capable of now. This is the only way that makes sense.
In order to prevent that bitch from assassinating me, I've pretended to be mentally retarded for 7 years.
That's it. That describes the fucking Guild Wars 2 devs and their relationship with NCSoft. It's like they made a game and they were like, I'm gonna be fucking retarded. That way they won't want to monetize. And then when they don't want to monetize the shit out of this game, then I'll do something cool. I almost feel like that's what happened.
Weird of him to use that footage here. Hang on.
Idea and then not making it
It's a
good,
good fight.
like they've
Ura's a good
proven they
fight.
can do in other cases. Sometimes
Okay,
I
so he's using Ura as an example of good gameplay.
just don't know what to make of the Guild Wars 2 base game systems because they're less consistent than having an alcoholic father in an Irish neighborhood. Okay,
Also, Devilus, I have no idea where that clip is from. I've seen that meme multiple times over the years. I have no idea what anime that's from.
case in point.
Dungeon lore and its tie into the rest of the world.
Amazing.
The fact that those same dungeons get touched less. Oh,
Not
come
very
on.
good.
Noxay!
Oh, come on. That wasn't that bad. Waypoints and exploration.
Wunderbar.
Memorability and significance of any of the main characters that you interact with.
Please, enlighten me. Who the f*** are ya?
Your character's visual progression as you gain gear and level up.
Not bad.
But did you notice how the character got whiter as the credit score increased? I bet money he saw that and he's going to say nothing about that. Gear itself and any of the stat choices that are tied to them.
It's like kissing your sister. Sure.
He missed that. There it is. We broke him. We broke him.
Nope,
13 minutes in.
I cannot conceive a way that those two
come
could
on.
be connected via a metaphor.
Everyone else in the village is already doing it, but when it's your turn, something just doesn't quite feel right.
And I'm saying none of this for what I'm saying there. Maybe that needs more explanation. What I'm saying there is that the gear progression, the way it looks in Guild Wars 2 is good, but the stat progression behind that feels meaningless. It feels so superfluous. Like, the stats system and mechanisms of stats in Guild Wars 2 feel so strange and so, I don't know how to put it, like, so unimportant. I've never played an MMO where stats feel so unimportant as I have inside of Guild Wars 2. Your stats don't matter unless you are at the top end and care about meta. That's exactly what I mean, Shielder. It's like, it almost makes me think I don't know why the game is giving me stats to play with if it means so little. And that then ties back into the whole idea of when I say some of the execution feels like they came straight out of North Korea. Why give me a system to play around with that is non-significant and completely like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I'm going to gain one level and replace all that gear anyway. It's completely pointless. The hero points feel significant, right? And progressing your abilities, getting more things to play around with, that feels good. The stats themselves, I like sit there and shrug my shoulders. Like, did anything really change?
For any of the players who've already decided that they don't care how closely related Guild Wars 2 is to their original parent MMO. I'm saying this for the 3 new players who haven't...
Did he catch it? I don't think he caught it. Is he going to go back? I want to see if you catch it.
2 is to their original parent MMO. I'm saying this for the 3 new players.
Yes, the arrow. That was just for him. Look how fucking flawless that is. Look at that shit right there. Flawlessly aimed directly at his face. I think he missed it. I think he didn't even get it. I think this flew past him.
Who haven't yet decided whether this is the MMO for them or not. Those players who have yet to feel the
yeah, he missed it. He missed it.
Cold, uncaring fingers of
Oh god, am I gonna regret this?
This is how the Koreans feel about NCSoft. This little message here is translated. They did a little haiku about how much they fucking hate NCSoft, and I don't blame them. NCSoft is like the ruiner of video games. Just look at how over-monetized Throne and Liberty is.
Signs like foreigners, only old boomers into it. Korean youth want to consider trying after years to start something new, but no guess their guns trying to attract foreigners the young with weird new dishes like mint chocolate dog. Touted as innovative. What?
Of Uncle NCSoft.
Guild Wars,
That's from his, by the way, that's from his thumbnail. That one over there. I watched that video.
3, wait a minute!
Oh,
is that the artwork that we made? Hold on.
Oh, damn, Mukluk's slow today. Mukluk's had a hard day, you can tell. You can tell he's had to prep himself for this video. He's taken a little bit of Valium. He's on some SSRIs and it's slowing him down. Took him a moment to register that one.
Hold on. Back when there was a bunch of rumors about Guild Wars 3, I got Erolozen I paid him to make me a fake Guild Wars 3 logo.
Yep, there we go.
And this is it right here. And used it as a thumbnail for when we were talking about it. And that's it. He cut it out of that thumbnail.
Oft running their way up the inside of their leg. Sometimes it's just impossible to tell whether the next thing you're going to experience while leveling is going to be joyful or janky. And what makes this hurt is not that the abandoned ideas still stuck in Guild Wars 2 are bad. It's just that they could be so much better than what they...
I will say, I do agree
Yes.
that it's a shame that dungeons are basically barren. Because I don't think it would be that hard to...
Is it fractals that everyone does instead of dungeons? I can't remember the name. But I think everyone does fractals, and dungeons are abandoned content. But the problem with the fractals versus the dungeons is that the dungeons, as you're leveling, are kind of significant because they give you little pieces of the story that actually make you give a shit about more of the characters than the main questline story does. The main questline story should take you through the fucking dungeons, like force you to do them, even if it's a solo experience and there's like no loot at the end. It should take you through it. I gave so little of a shit about Ritlock until I took a Char character and went through the goddamn, I think it's the Ascalonian catacombs. I gave so little of a fuck about other characters in the game until I saw the story in the dungeons on my alt account. And I'm like, oh, okay, damn, there's actually some personality to these people. And the best part is, the base game of Guild Wars 2 tries to get you to skip all the dungeons and just get to level 80 as quickly as possible. That's the worst part.
to bring life to them again. The problem is dungeons are 5-man content, and
you get mail every time you unlock a dungeon, which you instantly delete. You get mail. Yes, you're right. You do get mail. But the mail, the problem with the mail system is it's not like this is a part of the story. This is the part of the main questline story. You have to do this. You have to learn about these characters. It's more like oh, by the way, this dungeon exists. Anyway, have you heard about this one guy's fucking birthday? Like, it doesn't like make you do the dungeons. It's like an afterthought. It's like the Guild Wars 2 devs wiped their ass with the dungeons, and they just left the toilet paper on the bottom of their shoe and never considered it again.
Fractals are fine.
And the worst part is you get better story in the dungeons than anywhere else about the main characters in Destiny's Edge.
Batman content. Fractals take less time, and they pay way more money.
Yep.
So if a fractal takes 15 minutes and a dungeon takes 30, just make the dungeon give you twice as much money as the fractal, and then people will do whichever one that they enjoy the most. But right now, dungeons take more time.
They'll still do the fractal because it's shorter content and people are going to play at a pace of time value for money. Even if a dungeon is double the rewards, you'd need to make the dungeon a 30-minute experience that is triple the reward, so that they have even more of a reason to go for an even longer time than they would in a fractal that's 15 minutes. It would need to be triple or higher. And I'm not saying this from an uneducated perspective. I'm saying this from the perspective of someone who's looked at reward-based systems as a project manager and systems engineer, right? Reward-based systems need to outscale dependent on time, because time works on a log graph, not a linear graph. And it's exponential.
And pay you way less. So, like, they don't even need to, like, tweak the fights or anything in there. They could do that and improve things, but I'm just saying, to make them relevant, I don't think would be that hard.
They currently are. Luckily, dungeons are insane gold per hour if speed ran. They had to add diminishing returns to dungeon rewards. Yeah, D-Hog, you're not wrong, but the problem isn't that you can't generate a bunch of gold out of the dungeons. The problem is that there are just way better ways to get gold than to do dungeons, right? And the limitation factor that they have where there's a diminishing return just makes dungeons even less appealing. Because it's like, why would I bother running this once when I can do the same repetitious task at some other point and just outperform that shit in time value for money, or time value for gold in this case. For me, though, a little bit of digital CBT isn't going to do anything to me.
Noxie,
come on!
Because
I played...
Just blur the whole thing. Just all of it.
World of... I can imagine poor Noxie had to have a fucking stroke going through all my videos. I hope they're getting paid extra money. I really hope they're getting paid extra by Mukluk, because generally they're just cutting together video. I'm making this person edit. I'm making them dance for their dinner. Warcraft non-stop for 15 years of my life, which means there's nothing this game can do to me that I haven't done to myself already at 10 times the intent. Look at all those beautiful definitely players. Look at all those definitely players. Hey, remember my original idea for my stream when, you know, last week before my roof collapsed, was I wanted to look into the Guild Wars 2 botting problem? This is kind of why. This right here. Because I've leveled multiple characters, and I always see these bot clusters scrambling around the open world, doing weird shit and getting caught on surfaces. I see this all the time. And it's real fucking strange. I've tried to communicate with these people and you get nothing back. Density. But if they're gonna be so blatant about kicking me in the nuts every now and then, I would prefer a continuum of force, please, instead of living under the hopeful illusion that it might just not happen again. But back to my current MSQ. You know what the weird part about that bug was? I didn't fall through the world because I was at the bottom layer interacting with it. I fell through the world by being on the surface of the water and dying while swimming on the surface of a water. So there's an entire surface below me, and somehow that clips you through the bottom of the earth. And then it teleports you into the sky. I love how the Guild Wars 2 spaghetti code solution back in the day wasn't the guy clipped through the bottom of the map, let's fix the map so that doesn't happen again. Their solution was, no, we'll just teleport the motherfucker into the sky. Problem. I do think I have a solution. Instead of focusing on bridging these content chasms with meaningless heart quests and pretty decent dynamic world grinding, how's about instead I grind my way up in levels now and then they recently did a big anti-AFK update, and it was so much worse before that update. Well, I'm glad they did that. A lot of those accounts aren't bots, but players multi-boxing. You see, that's same shit, different smell, right? That's them just doing the same thing where they're trying to get around things and use an advantage using different mechanisms. Multi-boxing also needs to go. It's not a unique problem to Guild Wars 2. I've seen it in WoW. I've seen it in I've seen it in RuneScape. I've seen it in I think I've seen it in every single MMO that I've played. Multi-boxing is also a plague on the game. It's not as bad as botting because it's not as common, but it is still a problem and it needs to get the fuck out.
Experience the entire story later.
But yeah. So that's exactly what I did.
You can do that. You can do that. So like if you are level 20 and you haven't done the level 10 quest or the level 20 quest, you could do all of them back to back.
Yep.
So you can absolutely do that.
And I would personally recommend playing the game until like level 60 and then starting the story, because it's a much better experience when you just get to do one after the other after the other. And it makes you not like finish the story and you're level 32, and then for 8 levels you're going around bumbling your way through the world like a fucking idiot, and then you get to level 40 and you get to the quest that's attached to the MSQ and you're like, what the fuck was this about again? Why am I doing this? It like gives you this almost sense of meaninglessness to the MSQ when you have these big breaks between it. While doing so, a strange feeling of nostalgia began to creep over me. I accidentally liked it.
The more I think about it, the more this really feels like a throwback to my early WoW days. No direct goal or greater purpose in mind, just make...
During that leveling time is when you do dungeons. Yes, so why doesn't the game make me do it as the main story quest line? Make me fucking do it as the MSQ. Get me to get more invested in these characters that I know fuck all about. God, give me a dungeon where you know, we get to go back in time and murder Snaff.
Arbitrary number bigger than it was previously. Now, this ancient and simple formula might not seem like much to any of the newer generation of sprites who all have the attention span of...
Just do the adventure guide stuff. It shits XP out the wazoo.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna say something controversial now about the adventure guide. I'm going to say something very, very fucking controversial. And if you disagree with me, just know I understand. I completely understand. The adventure guide is cope. The adventure guide is a fucking strap-on system to try and fix the lack of XP that you get while leveling. Now, the adventure guide is exceptional after you get to level 80 and you're still continuing progression and you're looking for achievements and a bunch of things to do. But while you're leveling, the adventure guide is cope. It is fucking cope to try and shove you through levels even faster. It's putting rockets on a skateboard, right? You're going to fall on your ass and get to a point where you have no idea what the fuck you did wrong. I think, personally, the adventure guide should only be available to characters once they've hit level 80. If they were willing to do that with like half of the specializations of each class, why not do that with the adventure guide? And be like, oh, hey, you've got all these achievements that actually impact your character. Why don't you bother doing them? That would be much fucking better. But the adventure guide is a strap-on, duct tape over the leaking roof problem. If you want the adventure guide to be more significant, leveling, it needs a redesign where the adventure guide is not just some fucking page that you open on a menu. It needs to be a character you go to who will commission you to do very specific tasks while you're leveling up and gives you some extra story going through it. But that's a full redesign, and that's not happening because Guild Wars 2 is too old for that.
Of a squirrel on me.
I'm sorry. Guild Wars 2, its age is off the clock, and so no more time for cock. They're not going to update that shit. They're just going to leave it there.
And have yet to experience the joy of the release of a video.
Is that a goose? I have no idea what this game is in the background.
This is the The cash shop store that's strapped to the back of Throne and Liberty, that's what that is.
Game in their lifetime that's just not infested by microtransactions. But this right here is your...
Also, I misspoke about microtransactions. In Throne and Liberty, they're not microtransactions. They're macrotransactions.
Average, balding 30-something-year-old MMO gamer's Xanax. His Zen garden. His tiny fraction of a registration of peace and quiet and escapism in his life, neatly slotted between 2 goon sessions.
You can hate me all you want, you know I'm right. Wait, you're telling me Throne of Liberty has a game attached to it? I thought it was just a... Ah, shit, damn it. But honest, you're right. You're right, actually. Sorry, I must be thinking of another game. God damn it, thank you for correcting me. I got that completely wrong. It's a payment system. That was my bad. It's just the buttons sparkle sometimes, so you can confuse it for a game.
Oh my god.
Moment of wondering why there's a...
I fucked up here. And I'll explain how I fucked up. Because I genuinely thought this was the first worm I encountered, and this is not the worm boss I encountered. It wasn't this one. But I left this in because, like, I only realized after I actually published the video. I'm like, wait, hold on. Now that I think about it, this wasn't the worm boss that fucked me up the first time I saw it.
Giant green dick roaming around this area.
It looks like Green Wiener 2 has been hiding another trick up its skirt. World bosses. Another fantastic addition to break up the monotony of the game, distracting me away from doing whatever I was doing 2 minutes ago. But I would be lying to you if I said that there wasn't something here that just didn't feel quite right. I mean, sure, I haven't had enough practice with the grapefruit technique yet to take this world boss on alone. And this fight does look like something that would require an entire team of Korean MMO game enjoyers to suck and swallow their way through to complete.
Holy crap, the Destiny jab.
I went on Twitter one day, and there were just like 25 videos posted by dudes showing this motherfucker sucking a cock. And I logged off of Twitter and I was like, okay, that's enough internet for today. I did not want to see that.
Oh my god. Legally, I'm not supposed to laugh at that.
So, Muck's laughing because he knows about the dick sucking thing, right? He probably logged into Twitter and had the same experience as me, and he was like, okay, not today.
I know who that guy is. Yep. And there was recently some leaks about him. And we're going to continue.
But that's not it. It might be because I'm not playing Giant Wars 2. I'm playing Spore.
That enemy, unfortunately,
Let's
is
continue.
just not anything special. It's just the supersize me version of a regular mob that also hasn't left the cell stage of the game yet. Part of the reason that this game ends up in this dementia patient-riddled space, where some things feel repetitive as all hell and others feel novel and interesting.
Wait, is he going into a complaint about different mobs using the same model? That's what it sounds like.
Yes.
Is because of the design?
No, actually. Not the same model. The same rigging. Right? Let me put it to you this way. I've done this. I've personally done this. I did this for a video game called The Sandbox, way back in the day, which is a blockchain game that I thought had some potential. And I worked for them and I did some contractual work building and animating characters. And, like, building a character, building a 3D model is not nearly as taxing or difficult as rigging together an animation and a cycle and all these different movements that a character or creation needs to make. That's why it's really, really easy to take the same rigging and reskin it. So my issue is that each and every single rigging is the baseline model, and then they've just changed the shiny paint of coat on the outside, right? What I'm trying to explain to you, in very many words, riggers are fucking expensive, man. They will destroy your wallet if you're making an MMO. I'm just saying, they'll steal from you. riggers will take you out and you won't even know it. That's why, generally speaking, in any video game out there, there's like one rigger and a bunch of people doing 3D models that are then attached to the one rigger who's the king rigger who controls everyone else.
Decisions that are being made here. I've said this before, but in 2012
There's
they
also
did this.
another robot. Yeah, that's a veteran. Like this is like a 1 to 5 man thing. Yeah, there is a jungle worm boss in the game.
There's a jungle worm boss. I show it later. This was not the jungle worm boss that I originally encountered, and I fucked up because I thought it was, and it wasn't this one. There's a much bigger, scarier one that looks exactly like this. It's just larger.
Which is a massive version of that, which means his argument can still be relevant. But
I'm glad he got that.
Amazing job.
Yeah, I'm glad he got that, because I did actually fuck up. I was meant to get clips of the other one, but I couldn't find it.
With all the variety of the biomes, the landscapes, and the world building, and then they just fell flat on their face, reskinning and rescaling the exact same mob over and over again. And I can already hear some of the Guild Worms 2 veterans screeching at me from their chairs right now. Let me cook. A common complaint you might hear from some of the people running through the base game of Guild Wars 2.
There's also the Triple Trouble event, yeah.
Is that most of the mobs are just a flat-out repetition that have just been shifted from one biome to another and used ad nauseum. And that
personally, the only expansion where I had much of a complaint about that was Secrets of the Obscure. In Soto, a lot of the mobs were based...
Counterpoint, base game, mowers. Mowers are the exact same model everywhere you go with a different color scheme on it. You're telling me that fucking ostriches, fantasy ostriches, exist in the goddamn snow? They exist up trees, they exist in caves. Mowers are goddamn everywhere in this fucking game. I can't think of a biome that I went to that I didn't encounter mowers. It was devastating.
Basically reusing the wireframes. Now, I say the frames. Like, there was a demon, and you could really tell that was a frog before. And
Are you a good cook? No, but I can do a goddamn good gammon. That's what I learned. It took me 8 years to get it right.
It's a demon now, and it's like, this is the frog from Heart of Thorns. There was a lot of those. But honestly, like, it doesn't really bother me that there is an ice worm and a jungle worm. Like,
that's not what bothers me. It doesn't bother me that there's an ice worm and a jungle worm. It bothers me that they overused the shit out of the ice worm and the jungle worm when they could have had a sparser mob density but a higher mob variety. If that makes sense.
It's not unheard of to have the same type of monster in multiple places, and then they evolve slightly differently, stuff like that.
Yeah, but they didn't evolve slightly differently. The mowers are the fucking same. Even those little scorpion things that the goddamn Char keep as pets. The double-tailed scorpions, I can't remember what they're called. They are the fucking same. They didn't evolve differently. They are the same fucking model. Everywhere. The Devourers, yeah. Mowers are just dodos. No, they're ostriches. They're literally ostriches. With toes. Wait, no, ostriches have toes. I don't know why I thought they didn't. But they are the same model that hasn't evolved differently, right? But the primary issue I have is the overuse of the rigging behind the model and not the model itself.
So that doesn't... I don't think that bothers me much in the early game.
This was done because the devs just had a limited set of character assets and mobs to work with. But
this is important. This, what I'm saying here, is important.
Not strictly true. You can't look at something like this that's been used so sparingly and say it's the same as this, which has been used wherever possible. What makes this specific issue about the base game so confusing is that it's not like they haven't actually designed a wide variety of mobs for them to use and sprinkle throughout the world wherever they feel like. It's just that they didn't bother using any of the really good ones most of the time in any significant way at all.
And it's not even like different biomes. So you see, that's what I mean, right? They actually have a massive variety of mobs in the base game. I actually went through the list of all of them, and I was like, holy fucking shit. How did I not see half of these? And I uncovered the whole map. I took a character on my alt account and I just went through the whole map, and I didn't recognize like maybe 30% of what I was seeing on that list, because there are very unique and special mobs, like the Etten, for example, that are just not used that much. And the problem is that they could use the Etten more and still keep it as a special encounter, as opposed to something like, here's your 2500th mower. And Shielder, it doesn't matter that they have this different abilities, they all have the same animations. And for the rigging, right, for each different species, Fern, they have to have a different rigging, which means they did have the variety in the rigging. It's just they kept fucking using mowers everywhere. They kept using worms everywhere. They kept using these fucking grubs everywhere. It's the same rigging.
Level 2. Dude, I've seen this meme before, yeah. In some zones, you're
Yes, they do. Ettins share the rigging with undead brutes, and it works. Like you'll see later, I actually show an undead brute, and that's the point I'm making, is that they exist, they can share that rigging, and still be awesome. But they just don't do that.
fighting the same thing all the way to max level.
Contain different mobs. And to make my point, that jungle is green, but this snow is white. And
oh my god. Yeah, I did say the thing about the extra.
as for this one,
okay, wait. This is a different. Okay, this
different skins, same rigging, same model, exact same model. It's just the rigging is different.
thing.
I mean, it's just the skin that's different. But this is technically the same worm you've been fighting the whole time. Hence why I made that meme earlier.
Ghost worm, I guess, uses the same frame, but the model is different.
Same
like,
rigging.
Look, it has like
3D modeling on the outside is really easy. Rigging is expensive. But the problem is if you use the same rig and it's the same thing. It's the same worm. Sure, it looks a little bit different, but it's the same worm on the inside. It's like I say this when it comes to, like, you know, when young men ask me dating advice, right? About girls, right? They generally like, how do I get this girl to like me, blah, 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 all of that. And the only real thing I can say to them is, well, does she have 2 tits? Then she says the same as all the others, so you might as well have at it. It's the same rig.
exposed, like that's an undead one. So like this one has scales. This one and the green one are the same. They're just recolors. But this one is a different model. But it's a worm also, so it has similarity to other worms.
and as for this one,
just credit where it's due.
and it probably needs a course of antibiotics.
Yes.
You could theoretically make the argument about rarities of certain mobs and why they exist in the manner that they do, but that very willfully neglects the concept of over and underuse. There's a difference between being that is underuse. This is the case of underuse. This rigging right here is underused. They could have had like 4 different skins for the same rigging here, but they didn't. You have the Etten, you have the Brute. They could have done a lot more with this rigging that was probably a fucking nightmare to put together, and they just dropped it. They just dropped the concept of this. Airing and being repetitious. But I digress. Clunking my...
I mean, like, he says that, and he's at the same time, he's showing this giant abomination thing.
That's the
and
point.
I can only think of a couple of spaces in the game where you see this thing.
Exactly. You are woefully neglecting the cases of over and underuse. Mowers, overused. Brutes and Ettins, underused. Those weird fucking tree things, underused. Worms, way overused.
So, like, you don't see this often.
Exactly. But I don't
know, maybe he's saying you should see it more. I'm not sure.
Digress. Clunking my way through the levels at this stage was taking me longer than I expected, but again, seeing my plight, the players of Guild Wars 2 swooped in to save the day, and ensure that it's not taking me several more weeks of unoptimized, non-boosty gameplay to reach my goal. My interest in the world boss had been noted, and so I'm dragged off to fight a much better looking one. This one looks like an actual
Shadow Behemoth.
This is one of the few models that pissed me the fuck off. Do you know why? Because they could have made every other model that good. if they can do that, it proves to me that they have the capability of doing it. You know how, like, you don't expect the kid in a wheelchair to be able to do hurdles. But if he does, you're like, holy fucking shit, dude. You need to be in Cirque du Soleil now. Right? But then he goes and wastes his potential and is like, I want to be a, I don't know, I want to be a Transformer. Autobots roll out. You know, he's wasting his potential if he's in a wheelchair and he can do hurdles.
Okay, real quick, before we even watch this, Shadow Behemoth was actually my first world boss. It is in the human newbie zone, and every hour or two,
every 2 hours,
this thing appears.
And is far more unique than some of the others I spotted.
Gigantic monster. And it was a very memorable experience, because when I first saw this, it was like there was level 8 people and level 80 people side by side fighting for their life. Honestly, though, it's a simple fight, because you're going to have brand new people fighting this at low levels. It's a simple fight. The most dangerous thing is you're fighting him in shallow water. So occasionally these like void puddles appear, and they are the most painful thing in the fight, and they can be hard to see under the surface of the shallow.
I don't know, my eyesight's dog shit, and even I could see that. I feel like that's a little bit of cope. I feel like, man, if I can see that with my shitty eyeballs, I feel like anyone can see that those puddles on the ground. I mean, honestly, I think the Guild Wars 2 team disappoints me more because they show me they have such high potential and then they never live up to it. The key indicators, like the ground indicators of what's going to happen underneath you, are so goddamn good. I don't know how anyone could miss them.
Shallow water, and some people will stand in them until they die. That's honestly the most dangerous thing here.
Exploring. And it's one of those bosses that's so big, it's got multiple target points for one health bar.
Yeah, you can hit it in the face or in the left hand or the right hand and damage the same health bar.
Finally, some tasty f***ing leveling content. This is what I'm talking about. This is what makes the base game.
I suppose if you're like, you're playing Guild Wars 2 on your second monitor and then jacking off on your primary monitor to like whatever fucked up thing you found on Twitter, it kind of makes sense that you might miss some of the indicators, so maybe I do need to take that back. This is MMO players we're talking about here. I've seen, like, I raided Ulduar, I raided in Wrath, I raided Molten Core. I saw some of the dumbest shit known to mankind, so yeah, okay, maybe I'm just being like, maybe I'm being a little bit elitist here.
Game worth it. It's moments like these that you just can't get anything better.
You know what's a good comparison is a normal human being can probably do the jumping puzzles in Guild Wars 2, and I'm just mentally retarded. Like, my IQ becomes single digits when I see a jumping puzzle in this game. So maybe it's like that for them.
And it's a giant loot pinata.
Turns out the player base of Gender Whipping 2 beat the shit out of this.
My problem is with this video is I need to speak faster. I'm speaking way too slow.
Mob on such a regular basis that we probably need a petition to change its name to 1950s
Oh my god.
housewife. Once again,
I love how he paused on it. It's amazing that he paused on it.
and I've been hit by the Guild Wars 2 patented cognitive dissonance.
Okay. So, I mean, people have been fighting this world boss in a level 1 zone for 10 years. Yes, that one does get spanked pretty quickly. It's not gonna fail.
Big scary shadow monster isn't actually a threat. He's handing out participation trophies while fighting the.
Honestly, straight up, the first time I did this boss, it didn't feel like a fight. It's like, man, it's like you're an American police officer and your buddies dragged you off to find the biggest, blackest one out there that you can find that's getting a little bit uppity, and you're all gonna have a great time beating the shit out of him. And you're not gonna tell the staff sergeant you did it. That's what it feels like. And every time he says, I'm not resisting, you just say, stop resisting and keep going. Like, I mean, first time I played this boss, it was not a battle.
The shot Behemoth, I didn't even see a single person come close to death. It's quite literally a thing that
I have. People will stand in those dumb circles a lot, but anyone paying attention doesn't die.
Exists in-game for people to use and abuse for loot at a quite regular frequency.
Yep, like I said,
Yep,
every
2 hours.
it was every 2 hours.
But hey, who am I to complain at this point? It did bump me an entire 6 levels, and now I can get back to
Hold
the
on,
main
his
story
character's a
complaining.
salad. Who is this guy that looks just like him? Did one of his views...
Fuck! God damn it! No, he recognized that too fast. I thought I got away with it because he didn't recognize it in the first clip. Fuck me. Oh god. Yet the worst part is I think this character might actually have a better hairline than me. God damn it. Fuck. Oh, that hurts. That stings. That stings.
Viewers make a human balding engineer that looks like Rose and follow him around.
At this point, it did bump me an entire 6 levels, and now I can get back.
Wait, 6 levels?
Yes. And I only realized this later when I was doing this boss again with other characters. It bumped me 6 levels because of the adventure guide. That's the sticky tape, the flex seal that they slapped on the leaking leveling system. I only realized that later. That's why when I did this again later with other characters, and I'd already completed the adventure guide, I think this is why it works like this. I only got 2 levels, not 6.
Huh?
Hey, who am I to complain at this point? It did bump me.
No, don't go back to...
How did you... Hold on. All right, I'm looking at the bottom left. He's level 68 right now. Can I see what level he was during the fight?
On a regular basis that we probably need a petition to change it and
what do you mean
bump
6
me an
levels?
entire 6 levels, and now I can get back to the
Yeah, I think I got to like level 68, and I was level 62 when I started this fight. I can't remember.
main story quest line, all without break.
He probably completed a tier 1 event. It's from the
It was the
adventure
adventure guide.
That is crazy. I had no idea you could get 6 levels from this. He does have a bunch of adventure guide stuff popping up at the bottom right side, yeah.
Yep.
Breaking my rules of level boosting. My self-imposed exile has come to an end. The vigil is calling upon us once more, and in the spirit of cooperation against Tyria's greatest threat, all the equal race representatives of the
Here it
world
comes.
and Wanasura are gathered.
Don't look at me like that. I'm right. It's not my fault, okay? It's not my fault. I'm correct all the time, okay? It just happens.
gathered under one banner to figure out what needs to happen next. I left a misunderstood villain. I return a redeemed hero, ready to dedicate myself to the dragon-slaying cause.
So, the Great Council decided that it's super important that I investigate the sewers. The game is making me dig through literal digital shit for my
I can't actually believe the game makes you dig through digital shit for your next story. Like, I fucking saw that and I'm like, holy fucking shit. This is like Rathian being defeated by a rock in WoW. I can't believe they make you dig through shit for your main questline story. And every character who goes through the Vigil questline has to dig through the shit. There's no way around this one.
next piece of story questing lore. How incredibly self-aware.
What's different now, though, is that unlike the early game quests, this is directly relevant to the larger world and story that's happening around us. What we've lost in substandard personal story.
Rose, since you mentioned recently in this video that you never pay attention to your 6 through 0 buttons, and you recently discovered the flamethrower kit, I know you tried the grenade kit out in PvP, and you hated it because you constantly would throw and miss. And I'm not great with it against... You know.
Grenades suck. Worst ability ever. Especially if you're playing on a ping above 5. Fuck grenades. I will never... Like, I have not hit a single grenade in like, PvP. I must have played, like, 50 matches. Throwing grenades and not hitting a single goddamn one. Jesus Christ. The wind-up is so bad. I'm so fucking bad with grenades. It's so fucking bad.
You know, human targets either because they're slippery. Underwater though, grenade kit is amazing. If you haven't tried it, grenade kit locks for some reason underwater. The grenades lock.
Now you fucking tell me. Now you tell me. God damn it. Ah, fuck. Now I find out. Yeah, you know what? I figured out like later that you can't use the flamethrower underwater. and that there are certain abilities that change when you're underwater, especially like if you're playing like an elementalist and you're shooting fire. They change the animation entirely, which I think is fucking awesome. I think Guild Wars 2 has the highest potential underwater combat system that has the least output. So the highest potential, but the worst outcome because they just abandoned the system. But god damn it, I wish I tried grenades underwater. Maybe I'll do that at some point.
On target. So they like you could just hit one and they'll auto and they'll go on their own underwater. It's amazing.
Why would a flamethrower work underwater? Because I wanted to. God damn it, that's why, Philip. But yeah, no, it's I think the logical path of them following it and saying, no, we're not going to let you use the flamethrower underwater makes perfect sense. Right? But then let me change it out for fucking electricity or something. I don't know. God damn it. You did it with a bunch of other weapons and then you made them awesome. And then you fuck up my favorite one. What the fuck?
Amazing weapon underwater if you haven't tried it.
Storytelling is hopefully being made up for in larger overarching world story. And there's no having a...
And you don't have to go tap, 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 tap on the one button underwater like you do on land with grenades.
Oh, God. Oh, fuck me. You're telling me that grenades are actually based underwater? Oh, fuck me. They fixed grenades for underwater, but when you're above ground, fuck you, dude. Oh, god damn. God damn. I kind of like that. I kind of like that grenades are shitty above ground, but I've never tried them underwater. I'll have to see how good they are one day.
Story in Guild Wars 2 without roping in Lion's Arch again. Look, I know I said before that this city only exists to play Fashion Wars 2 and for a convenient trading post, but story...
Yeah, it's this... this guy's cosplaying the dude from the World of Warcraft episode of South Park.
No, he's not. He's not cosplaying it. That guy just shit himself in his chair in that scene. This guy took a fat shit while playing WoW, and he just left himself there.
Yeah, Lion's Arch is the capital of capitals. Like, there's a capital for each, like, there's races area. Like Divinity's Reach is the humans, and Radasum for the Asura, and etc. And then Lion's Arch was the original capital of the capitals. Like, it's a neutral town for all 5 races to meet up.
Story-wise, at least, this is more than just a place for hairy, underdressed men to show off the skin-tight pants on their female characters. This city is basically the only neutral ground we've seen in the game. And it's also...
It's pretty racist that they made it Lion's Arch, you know. There's obviously Char supremacy. And you know what? I'm kind of here for it. I'm not a furry, but at least the Char looked cool. At least they didn't call it Midget's Arch. And then there's a bunch of fucking Asura running around like they own the place. Anything that's not named after the Asura, fine. Great. I'm okay with that. I mean, if you think about Ratasum, the main city of the Asura, it's a fucking Rubik's Cube. They couldn't even solve their own goddamn Rubik's Cube, and then they're inserting their problems on the rest of the world. Go home, lock yourselves in your goddamn main city, and solve your Rubik's Cube first, and then maybe we can talk once you figure that shit out.
A fantastic place to be around other players if you have a time machine and can go back to
Unregistered Hypercamp?
Yeah. 2013. And just like the modern player base, we don't care about Lion's Arch. We care about the little... attached to it known as
come
Claw
on,
Island.
I said Dingleberry, that's not that bad.
And on Claw
Maybe a little bleep.
Island is a fortress that I definitely didn't forget the name of, which was built in the hopes of preventing enemies from getting close enough to Lion's Arch to reenact Pearl Harbor. Now, being the world's best 5D chess player.
Alright, he jokingly said reenact Pearl Harbor. Real quick though, he's not actually far off in terms of the lore of the game.
Yeah. I'm not far off because I actually know the lore of the game. I'm not kidding.
For those who don't know,
Makes no
really
sense.
quickly, in the Guild Wars 2 novels, which I highly recommend. Hold on a second. Which one was
he's
it?
pulling
Sea
up
of
books.
Sorrows. It was this one. Guild Wars 2 Sea of Sorrows.
Yeah, he's recommending books. Come on, these are MMO players. We can't read.
In this book, there is Lion's Arch 1.0, all right? And it is a lot closer to the shoreline, further out toward the ocean a little bit. And Zhaitan wakes up. He's a big boy. He gets out of the water, and like a big fella doing a cannonball, it makes a huge tidal wave. And that tidal wave it wipes Lion's Arch off the map. It just destroys Lion's Arch 1.0.
Yep.
So they rebuilt Lion's Arch 2.0.
Hey, you know it's a really cool idea? The place that faces natural disasters because of giant dragons. Don't move it somewhere else where he can't get it. Just rebuild it exactly where it is. That way he knows exactly where to attack. Really good idea.
2.0 further inland in that cove that it's in, and the people.
By the way, I figured this out. I don't know. This is probably common knowledge because this game's ancient. One of my characters, I was like running along the coastline by the lobster in Lion's Arch, and I went into the water. And if you go under, like if you swim underwater and you just do a little bit of exploring, you can actually see the previously fucked up Lion's Arch. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm glad that they left that in game and it wasn't just sand at the bottom.
People that made it, who were pirates, decided, what are we going to do about these dead ships, which are those skeletal ships? Basically, anytime a ship would go out to sea, if Zhaitan zombies took it over, it became what they called the dead ships. Anytime, and the dead ships were a problem. So they made a fortress out in front of Lion's Arch 2.0, which was Claw Island, and
that way there's a giant bullseye that they can aim for.
They manned the hell out of it, like, you know, cannons and batteries and all kinds of stuff. And they got a lot of kickback from the other people. They're like, you're wasting our tax-paying money making this super fort out front. This is stupid. Ended up not being.
It is fucking stupid. But because of plot reasons, they're going to be like, actually, it worked out really well. You know what Claw Island is? Claw Island is Rey from Star Wars. That's what it is.
And too stupid later on. However, that was all part of the story. The whole point of Claw Island was to keep Lion's Arch 2.0 safe from the dead ships that were, controlled by Zhaitan.
Yeah, has realized something that
Lion's Arch 2.0 was destroyed in Living World Season 1, but that's a different story.
The defenders of Lion's Arch have not. If you can't Pearl Harbor your original target, then why not Pearl Harbor the of
Also,
Lion's
really
Arch
quick,
have
hold
not?
on.
If you can't
If you're new to the game, swim in this water right here and go down to the bottom, and you'll see the ruins of Lion's Arch.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. I was here in this lobster and I fell off. And I was like, oh shit, there's actually stuff in the water. I'm really glad that they didn't just leave like shitty sand here that they thought no one was going to see.
Arch 1.0 from the books. It's pretty cool.
Pearl Harbor your original target, then why not Pearl Harbor the thing that's preventing you from doing that?
Oh my god.
See? Just blow the fucking one dot off the map and everything else is fucked. Checkmate, theologists. There is no God, because I see no intelligent design here. Look, and I bet the Asura were responsible for making this decision.
What I'm saying here is not too important. I'm just trying to give you some context. What really matters at this stage is that the game is finally giving us something memorable to play our way through. An awesome siege that actually feels like it has weight and impact on the world. The first undead attack launched against us is small, probing, and only enough to shut down the nude beach. Not really a big loss because I saw no female Norn lying on it. The dragon is testing us for weakness. He might not be a mystery to us at this stage, but we are definitely still a mystery to him. And the game appears to be hinting that he's trying to figure out if we even have a counter to anything he would do to us. And unfortunately,
see, now that's foreshadowing. I thought this was actually brilliant, and this is what pissed me off about the rest of the base game story, is they're like the section here, the siege section where we lose Claw Island is so fucking good. It's so neat and tight, and the way that Zhaitan first attacks, even though he didn't put any Japanese people in a plane and fly them into Claw Island, and he like went for the naval approach, is so fucking logical. It's like, let me poke and prod at the defenses. Let me see if they have anything that's going to wipe out my army before I even get there. Right? It was so good. It proved, like, I'm sure that whoever, like, wrote this section about Claw Island and the fortress on it, I'm sure it wasn't the main guy. I think it was, like, the janitor who had, like, what's that fucking movie? A Beautiful Mind? Where he just like walked up to the whiteboard, saw this retarded shit, rubbed it out with his hand, like redid it himself, and then like ran away before anyone knew. So what's up, Echo Lotus? Happy New Year as well. We don't. And so in a shocking twist, the undead do what's most logical and immediately throw everything they have at us,
The
sparking
dead
a
ships.
full-scale battle in
Dead
the
ship
process.
in this case. Yeah. So, obviously in the game, the dead ships all have a very similar, if not the same model. I think there might be...
Did you hear that?
Dead
A
ships.
full-scale battle in
Dead
the
ship
process.
in this case. Yeah. So, obviously in the game, the dead ships all have a very similar, if not the same model. I think there might... obviously in the game, the dead ships all have a very similar, if not the same model. I think there...
I'm sorry. What the fuck did I say earlier? What was that point I made before this one? about reuse of the same shit over and over again? Magically, the guy with the infinite undead army, all the ships just look standardized like a fucking Funko Pop. Got you. I got you. I got you with your own point, Mukluk. I got you. Yeah, character models? Yeah. Guess what's a character model? That's that ship that we see a million times. I got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
There might be like two different models, but in the books, they came
No,
up...
there's one. There's not two. There's one, as far as I've seen. Maybe there's a different one. I haven't seen the other one, if there is two.
all shapes and sizes, because it would just be like an undead version of whatever was lost at sea. It could be anything from massive like frigates or trading ships or small boats, whatever. You know, any ship that was lost at sea, anyone who was killed on them would they'd take it over.
Yes. Everyone here is fighting. That would be so much cooler than just seeing the singular model in the game. But I understand why that's unreasonable to expect from a video game, because from a budget perspective, that would be fucking insane to try and put in a game. And for their lives, the
Jet
music
skis.
makes the
Yes, the Asuran jet skis also.
tension palpable. Every moment that passes, the battle sways in one direction or another. We battle our way through a wide variety of undead that we've only ever seen in much smaller quantities than before this moment. And when we finally gain the upper hand by sinking the undead ship that's been the single cause for all this chaos, this happens. That moment was so fucking cool. It's like this gigantic battle against one ship, and then there's like 27 of them that just pop out the water, and you're like, oh, we're fucked.
More dead
We
ships!
have severely underestimated our enemy, but through some combination of sheer, unbridled hubris under the leadership of an alcoholic and plot armor. The only reason we didn't win right here is plot armor. A cat, and I mean they didn't win, is plot armor. Personal blend of protagonist syndrome, the defenders
Get in
of
there,
Claw
make it on
Island
you.
managed to hold their own, and once more we find ourselves lulled into
I
a
like how this NPC is talking and Rose is fighting for his life.
false sense of security, only for the... Yeah, I really love that. I really love when the NPCs are having a conversation while I'm getting the shit beaten out of me. Makes me feel right at home. It's like any bar you go into in South Africa. People will be having a conversation about how they might not love their wife anymore, and the guy in the booth behind you is having a fist fight. This to happen.
Keep your courage up.
You may notice that this dragon bears a
It's tequila.
striking resemblance to a large piece of broccoli we defeated in the past a long time ago.
Oh, I am very proud of him. He made that
Hey.
connection. Yes. When you make a
It was so obvious. It was so obvious. It was so obvious that Dragon Joe Biden was based off of this first one. That's got the same moves. It's got the same behavior. It was so good. Like, this is like one of the things that made Claw Island so goddamn good. Is that it had foreshadowing, it had angles, you knew where it was coming from, it was tied well into the story, it had all the right elements. And then you immediately go back to shitty story immediately after this. Breaks my fucking heart.
level 1 Sylvari, your tutorial is in the dream and you're seeing a vision of the future and it looks like this. And he made the connection.
Go. What a fantastic callback to the beginning of the game. Actually, this is a different dragon, but you will meet him again. Okay, well, I mean, I saw the connection between those two. That's what I saw. That's what I assumed the game was trying to tell me. when we were told that this exact thing was going to happen. And never before this moment would I have ever considered a monkeypox dragon with a vomit breath attack anything but a writer's personal fetish. But somehow, Guild Wars 2 I wonder if he takes my Chris Chan sex joke out. Made it work. This is pretty cool from both a foreshadowing perspective and the perspective of trying to make things feel as hopeless as possible.
After all the plot and compositional failures that we've seen from the Guild Wars 2 writing team so far, I didn't expect them to be able to pull something like this off, but they did. They pulled me off, and it felt great.
He left it in. Hey, don't blame me. What's even more unexpected is that something interesting happens at the end of the story arc. We lose the battle. We lose Claw Island. Never before this moment has this game made me lose anything more but knowing that people unironically... I didn't say... I fucking said erection. Come on.
Ox!
Enjoy playing Asura. The dragon...
It has nothing to do with that. I just like...
Hey, that's exactly what they say in the court of law as well. I promise, officer, I wasn't appearing at this lonely 12-year-old's house I was here for a cupcake.
Little dude, big head. All right? Final Fantasy, Vigar, it's a fun trope. You're making it weird, Rose.
I'm not making it weird. The internet did that all on its own. In a single attack, using one mini-me dragon and a few boats, has proven that fighting an unstoppable wave of undead head-on is not going to work. So we need a better plan than thinking we can just charge in and beat up the elderly.
Paul and Mike Tyson.
Than that, and probably...
Also, I 100% believe the Mike Tyson fight with Jake Paul was rigged. That shit was so fucking... God damn. That was such a bad fight. Damn, I can't believe people paid money for it.
For plot reasons, all of us escaped unharmed and in one piece. Well, hold on. Where's my...
That is not his name!
That is his
Moxie,
name.
bleep it.
Don't bleep out his name. It's his name. It's not my fault they called him Foreskin.
Son of Kern.
That was him that ran back through the door, wasn't it? Right. Fuck the story. I mean, why bother when they just keep on taking the most memorable...
I will say, chat. All right. My first time...
Wait. I want to see if he agrees with me. Is he about to say I'm dead wrong and that this is a heroic act that, you know, when you did like Tybalt or Foreskin or that other fucking one from the church of molesting children, when they run back there, it's such a heroic thing. He better not fucking say that. I'll be so goddamn mad if he says that.
I'm doing Claw Island. I joined the Order of Whispers. I had a pal. Most of you probably don't remember him. He was a minor character. His name was Tybalt.
Yeah,
Tybalt
probably.
was with me fighting for Claw Island. And when we were running out those doors, he goes, I'll hold them off. And I looked at Tybalt. And I looked at Tequila, that large dragon. And I looked at the 9,000 undead. And I looked at the 17 dead ships behind them. And I was like, Tybalt, you would not hold them off for 1 second.
Based. I'm so fucking thankful it's not just me. Oh my god, it feels like a weight off my nutsack. God damn. Oh, that's such a fucking relief to hear that. That was so fucking stupid. Any of the characters that are like, hey, let's stay behind and get fucking run over. Pre-watch. You think I have fucking time in my life to pre-watch shit, Devilus? God damn, I wish. I would be so much fucking better to see if I did. Oh, fuck, that's a relief. I was expecting to actually disagree with me and to say, no, this is like a heroic sacrifice and the characters actually did something. Fuck me. It was so fucking stupid. They ran in there to die for nothing. That was suicide. That was like suicide by cop. You know what's gonna happen when you reach for the gun. That's just the fucking dumbest shit ever. Tybalt, Foreskin, that other guy who molested kids from the I think it's the Priory. They should all be alive. They just fucking died for nothing. It's the dumbest death.
And he's like, bet. And he ran in, and he died immediately. And I was like, that was not courageous. That was incredibly stupid and served no purpose whatsoever. It was a pleasure knowing you, sir.
Literally the worst part about the Claw Island siege is this right here. It makes no fucking sense.
So, I agree with Rose's frustration here that it served no purpose whatsoever having your bestie charge back in there and the door closed. But
Priory is a chick, actually, Plant Lady. I completely forgot about that super god. You're right, it is. Like, they were so unmemorable in comparison to Tybalt and Forgel. I completely forgot. But you're right. Fuck, that's how unmemorable they are.
like, the door closes behind you, they got a dragon that steps over the door. This is an arch. This stops nothing. There was definitely a suspension of disbelief here.
Parts of
Literally, Super God, you could replace half of the Sylvari characters tomorrow. If there was an update tomorrow in Guild Wars 2, and they switched out half of the guild, like the Sylvari characters, with another half of the Sylvari characters, and you made me play through the base game story again, I probably wouldn't notice the difference.
Let away.
Time then to speedrun some filler. The next story arc revolves around taking back Claw Island. We didn't war crime.
Like this scene right here. I actually forgot. I'm not kidding.
Some filler. The next story.
I actually forgot this entire time that Traherne actually talks directly to Almora. I've played through this segment of the story like 4 times. I don't fucking remember this. I have no memory of this because it was so dull.
Arc revolves around taking back Claw Island. We didn't war crime hard enough when defending the fort, so we war crime twice as hard at lines.
Dumbest fucking plot point ever. We've lost the most defensible position and somehow we win. Dumbest fucking plot point.
Arch, when the undead arrive at the front door and win this time. It's now up to us to figure out how to kill the zombie dragon, or if that's even possible. And so who better to ask than our mom? And in typical woman fashion, instead of helping, she asks what my greatest weakness is.
That an innocent person who believed in—
Oh, fuck, he started reading the text. I should have changed this text. I should have actually changed this text now that I think about it. I should have made, like, stupid little fucking things here. Ah, damn it.
me would die because I couldn't save them. I would fail so grievously that I would lose the respect of my comrades and be dishonored. One day, through my actions, I'd condemn someone to suffer in agony. Oh my god.
So she can store that information and weaponize it against us later, and sends us on a vision quest to Eastern Europe to witness the apocalyptic—
What, Eastern Europe?
Yep.
Future of what happens when you're born as a Serbian. Our vision quest shows—
Oh my god, do I even want to know? What did that say?
Apocalyptic future of what—
I'm starting to believe that Mukluk is not a very worldly man. He doesn't know of European memes. This is a foreign concept to the Americanese. All he's aware of is America. He's missing out. He needs to one day go look at all the Balkan memes that exist. He'll have the time of his goddamn life.
What happens when you're born as a Serbian?
I'm not gonna ask you again. How God's name did you know that I'm Serbian? I don't know anyone from Serbania. I can't say anything on this topic.
Our vision quest shows us both the horrors of the past.
It's the last word ever.
He's from Canada, so even worse. That's just America that hasn't become America yet. Didn't Trump say he's gonna go invade them? Come on, the 51st state. Don't worry, he'll be Americanese soon enough.
Saw your father walk down, his last words to me were, "Be right back, gonna get new books."
In the future, we're trying to prevent, and I shit you not, the game tells me that once upon a time, the Kang of Awe—
Noxie maybe just like—
Oh, come on!
Not just like fast forward.
Oh, come on, he cut Sam Hyde out of my goddamn video. He just—
Forward the last like 10-15 seconds.
Why are we trying to prevent this future again? Once we snap back to reality—
I honestly feel like that was just a self-insert of Rose's fantasies. I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not a fucking self-insert. It's in the game. You go to the future, and your mom, the mother tree, tells you that she don't want to see no lesbian plant action. She's okay with the fucking eggplants smashing against each other, but she don't believe that two papayas are supposed to be in the same room together. We know that our mom is homophobic against lesbians because she tells us that the worst possible future in existence is Fowlane and Keith hooking the fuck back up. Our mom literally looks us in the eye and says, I just don't think it's natural. when the first Sylvari came up, it was Adam and Eve, not Eve and some other bitch. She straight up tells you she don't want to see that lesbian shit in her household. You get the fuck out of this tree if you're doing this. And obviously Fowlane in this relationship was the more aggressive lesbian, so she got rid of that and she was like, Keith, you're gonna stop being this way. We're gonna take you to some like plant electroshock therapy and we'll fix you. That's exactly what our mom does. That's in the game. That's not me. That's not my fantasy. That's in the game. Our mom tells us the worst possible future is lesbian sex.
Oh, that any of that actually? Yeah, there were kings in Ore. That did happen. But the whole papayas thing, I don't recall any of that from the Vision Quest, but okay.
Only really one question on my mind. Mother, what the f did you put in those brownies? None of that information was applicable to our current problem. But I never get an answer because got tired of waiting and attacked our home base of Vigil's Keep. And so now I need to rush over there. Damn, I really need to speed up the pace at which I speak in these videos. I think I could have gotten this video to be like 30 minutes long if I spoke faster. To save everyone. Not too big of a deal. I'm the protagonist after all. So I play a little catapult piano, win back our keep, and now it's time to go back to fighting over the same patch of dirt in the ocean that we already lost once. The return siege is almost as epic as—
So, that sounds stupid, but Claw Island is the only defensible position in front of Lion's Arch. If the enemy gets Claw—
So why would we be able to win it back? Why would we be able to win back Claw Island if it's the most defensible place and it's now in the hands of the enemy who has an undead army that just keeps getting the fuck back up after we knock it down? Pure plot contrivance. It's amazing, don't get me wrong. I like the story of taking it back. Sorry, I nearly vomited at thinking that, like, you know, the Guild Wars 2 devs were going to apply some logic with this. It's great. Taking back the island is great, but from a logic's perspective, no.
Island, they can stop.
I would argue that the zombies are dumb, but you're not wrong. Okay, so Super God, let's put it this way: the zombies are fucking stupid, but somehow they managed to win against us, who are apparently super geniuses, and somehow the fucking stupid people lose the second time.
Stop all trade and just siege us out and just bleed you out. So it makes sense that they're trying very hard to get this back. Plus, it has all the cannons. All the guns that they've been investing in for years are on Claw Island.
Yeah, and now they should be under the control of the undead army that beat the brakes off of us. You know, when we had the cannons. Now without the cannons, somehow we're gonna win? It's contrivance. 100% contrivance. I would need to see a seriously good explanation as to why we can somehow magically win when we're the underdog. When we were, like, we had the best position and we lost.
Lion's Arch does not have much defenses because Claw Island was the defenses.
The first time we were here. And we get to kill that dragon that kept vomiting at us like he just got done watching. This time, we win back the island and everyone... He fucking skipped the Chris Chan sex joke. He fucking skipped it. God damn it, I knew he was gonna do that, motherfucker. Do you see, I know, because that's the face. That's the face of a man who just heard about Chris Chan. I know exactly why I put that in the video. One celebrates. But more important...
I don't like that. No, I don't like that.
More than just the Vigil and those two other useless organizations that have done nothing up until this point are now aware of...
What was that? His greed sickens me, he doesn't need 3 apples. That's a good...
This is what I mean. Priory, completely unmemorable. Vigil, based as fuck. Tybalt, comfortable second place.
Meme. That's a good meme.
Organizations that have done nothing. Tibble's overrated, by the way, but I can't blame anyone for liking him because at least you remember who the fuck he is. Up until this point, are now aware of exactly how powerful the dragon is. I can only imagine what kind of abilities he would pull on us if we had to fight him directly.
Oh, I can't wait for this final fight. It's probably going to be so far beyond anything I can even imagine. I mean, just look at the army of undead we've already had to contend with. I'm really starting to think that this is just going to be the ultimate showcase of what Guild Wars 2 is capable of.
At this point, who really cares how discombobulated the story is? By the end of this all, we get to have the ultimate showdown with an undead, insane dragon.
Man, I gotta get better at using that shake effect because that was actually fucking trashed here.
Okay, enough with the mental session. Back to
And now that I see it again, I need to get better at using that. God damn it!
For the flying undead apocalypse that's coming our way.
It falls to me now to try and handicap the flying nightmare lizard, all while making my... Wait, okay, you told me to watch the chat. I'm watching the chat in his thing. Preach already did this, but I have watched 0 of Preach's videos on Guild Wars 2, specifically because I didn't want to copy him. My allies as handy capable.
Wait. Destiny's Edge best attempt at being useful right now while the world burns. This has to be Logan because the foot.
Yeah.
That's Logan. That's Queen Jenna. That's Ritlock. That's Kaith. That's Air. That took me a second.
Hey, accurate to scale. It's not my fault. It's accurate to scale.
That's Air Stegauken. And that means the Dr. Disrespect being a gremlin over here is the Asura.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And as we all know, just like Dr. Disrespect, all Asura are sex pests. Hold on. Well, the law answer is more resources. You had the pact, so more soldiers, more specializations on elder dragons, more intelligence, and more military. It's just that they could not really show that clear enough. Well, okay, Tyrion. You're telling me that while we were gathering this gigantic force and army that is meant to battle against the biggest artillery we've ever seen, Zhaitan decided to go AFK and not attack Lion's Arch, give us all the time in the world to prepare, get that army together, and come back and fuck his ass. Why the fuck would he not just run over Lion's Arch while we're trying to get our shit together? Makes 0 sense, still.
Gosh.
All as possible. So I kill another necromancer that looks exactly the same as the last one. Oh, sure. I want to see, but if he got the FBI statistics joke, is he an enjoyer of the race memes, or does he blank out on this? I'm the problem because all the necromancers look the same. You know, despite being 13% of the undead, we do all of this so we can access his... Oh, he got it. You see that face? He's a racial joke enjoyer, but he doesn't want to say anything because he knows he's going to get in trouble. He got it. That was the face of someone who knew exactly what I was doing when I was quoting fucking FBI statistics and calling the... and using the undead as a placeholder. He knew. He fucking knew. His Gmail account and read the spicy conversations
Oh my god.
he's been having with his boss.
Do you even know what the legal definition of sexting is?
There's only...
Oh my god! Don't bring him into this.
Yeah, I'll bring him into this.
Oh, I'm tearing up. Oh, no.
Really 3 important story beats that happen in this next arc. First, we play a little Harriet Tubman and the Underwater Railroad. Free some slaves from the fish snake people who now have to pick their
That's admirable. Free them.
underwater cotton, and discover that they've also been hiding a Dragon Ball that Zhaitan is allergic. This is also such a weird fucking plot point. That the random fish snake people have the sea nutsack that Zhaitan doesn't want to touch because that's gay. It would be gay if balls touched, so Zhaitan don't want to be near the sea nutsack. It's so fucking strange that they just magically have this. Where did it come from? Who owned it previously? I can understand that a relic like this would exist because Zhaitan's been around forever and people have been looking for how to counteract him forever, right? But they really didn't explain this well. This could actually have been a purely logical thing, but they just refused to explain it whatsoever. 2. Second, we meet Norn Mommy 2.0 and Water Wings Mommy 1.0. And third, we fondle those balls off the fishmen and Norn Mommy 2.0 gets captured. Now, I just gotta say that like sea race of underwater woman, perfect design, beautiful, amazing. Aside from the objectively correct decisions that Geisha Wars 2 is making right now by building us a personal harem, the story has once more become a mess, but a mess in a completely new way. All these quests actually are important, but they feel like chore work at best, and doing the dishes with a toilet brush. 10 points if you recognize whose sink that is.
Chat, I hope none of your kitchens look like this. Do not disappoint me.
At worst. That is not my fucking sink. I've got a child and a wife. I will be abused to death if I leave my sink like that. You'd think that if I, the obvious protagonist, is off doing all these little wacky side adventures that everyone else has to be doing. This was also really fucking stupid. This is why I put this clip in. Look at this shit. You are chasing this guy down and magically he's just invulnerable. He's just magically impervious to everything you're doing for no fucking reason at all. Just let me beat the shit out of him and move on. Something way more important right now, but no. My character, non-consensually grabbing the balls off of a bunch of knockoff Naga like I'm a public school teacher is the best hope Taria has right now.
I mean, you're doing a very poor job of it.
Yeah, because
the problem occurring here isn't a problem of quest law importance, but rather quest scaling proportions. In the beginning of the game, we went from slaying a dragon to gardening. And now we're going from this awesome siege battle to just small-time fish molestation.
But there is still something worthwhile.
I mean, it can't be all dragons all the time.
It doesn't have to be all dragons all the time, but it does have to show proportionate scaling. Why am I going from being able to be in an amazing fucking battle to battling, like needing like 7 bullets to put down a fucking bug? Like a worm on the ground. That does happen in this moment. I finally hit level 80, and I'm beginning to feel the end approaching. That actually happened, by the way, during that quest while I was doing it. I was about to get to the end of this part of the quest, and the game just decided, fuck you. It just kicked me the fuck out, and I had to redo this quest.
Think about this dragon fight that's coming. It's actually got me...
Wait, is that Deathwing? That is Deathwing.
Yep, that's
reminiscing
Deathwing.
About the past a little bit. Once, not too long ago, in an MMO not too far away, I was robbed of a battle with the Grand Dragon.
I'm actually shocked that Noxie didn't cut this one out.
I mean, it's admirable to want to fight this person, okay? That's not even bad.
You know, I've never seen the clan throw hands before. I think these guys in these pointy hats, I don't think they could fight to save their life. They talk a lot of shit, but they don't do anything. I'd 1v1 these motherfuckers, and I'm a fat, lazy old man. I'd still probably win. I've never seen a clan member get in a fight and win. I think they all talk. Don't do the power down shit. Well fell into that hole with all the borrowed power. Yeah, but okay, you're talking about the whole Azerite system. I'm more thinking about this as a temporary power up and then drop back down. Not a, here's a whole expansion where you power up and then we'll fuck you afterwards. Right, I'm like saying like, put something in the game that's like, okay, you're fighting this dragon, now use a bunch of cannons and shit, and oh, here's some very special, unique magic that we've been preparing for the last 3 weeks that's gonna like superpower you or supercharge you for the next 5 minutes. And then when this is over, you're back to being just you again. You're back to being Traherne's fucking sidekick.
One where I thought I would be with my friends, making this amazing memory, battling the one known as Deathwing, the mightiest of dragons of his time. And I'm sure you can...
Real quick for anyone not keeping up, he's talking about World of Warcraft. In
Yes.
World of Warcraft, there's a big dragon for each aspect. You could almost say element, but there's one for flames and like rebirth, and there's one for nature, and Deathwing is the one for...
Oh, then there was the one, the night elf one that was part of the dream as well. That was the green dragon.
death and destruction and stuff like that. And he
Sarah,
was played up for many, many years. And this is the Deathwing battle. And there's different phases. One where you're like on the ground shooting up at him. One where you're basically on his back and you've got to like hang on when he tries to do a barrel roll.
Dumbest fucking fight. Dumbest fucking fight imaginable. I did this like 4 times. I was the main healer of this 4 times, so I had to watch this shit from a distance. Damn it, I was just fucking Sneeko in the chair watching this shit happen. It was so dumb.
And then you're like basically stabbing into his flesh and like lava elementals are coming out of him. But it's not what people expected. I believe that was called the Spine of Deathwing, and it's not what people expected for the dragon fight.
Can imagine.
Yeah, it was so fucking stupid. You're not battling the dragon. You're literally popping syphilis bubbles on his back.
My disappointment when you find out that the first half of the fight is popping his syphilis bubbles and the second half is just...
I mean, that's an accurate description. It's gross, but that's an accurate description.
Trimming his toenails. And what made it feel so bad...
And that's the fucking fight. You're just attacking his toe. You are literally attacking his toe.
Is that the...
Yeah, so you see right here, they're like, here's his claw, and they're all just beating on his toenail. Yeah, that's basically the fight.
Entire raid's contribution to the fight was essentially minimal from a narrative perspective because we were just a stand-in for Green Jesus and the Dragon Squad to show up and defeat him by just shooting a high-velocity piss beam in his direction. It's a good thing that Guild Wars 2 came out almost...
Yeah, so essentially you beat on his toenail for like, an hour, and then a video happens of Thrall that shows up and they just Kamehamehas him.
Yeah, there's 2 separate fights, and he doesn't Kamehameha him. So what happens is you fight on his back and do basically fucking nothing except cure him of an STD. Then Green Jesus shoots piss beam at him once. Then he goes to the ground. Then you punch his toenail a little bit. Then Green Jesus gives him the great suck and he goes into the Dragon Soul. That's all that happens. You do nothing. You do nothing. Worst narrative perspective imaginable. I genuinely think that as bad as Zhaitan is, at least, he's not as bad as Deathwing's ultimate fight was, because Deathwing was amazing until the very end. Zhaitan has been built up to be, maybe it's going to be shit, maybe it's not, based on all the writing you've seen until you get to him.
An entire year after this raid occurred, because there's just no way that the devs didn't look at that and learn from that mistake. This fight just feels like it might be a...
That is genuinely how I felt after I found out that Cataclysm came out before Guild Wars 2. When I learned that, right, I was like, damn, I bet this is going to be so much of a better fight. This is what you're hearing here was my initial thought process behind it. Before I fought Zhaitan for the very first time.
Correction to the timeline.
Technically true, chat. We saw earlier on the...
I can just see a million different ways that this dragon battle could play out, but I need to stop speculating. I don't want to ruin the surprise. Let's for now just maintain a focus on all these little story beats that are preparing us for something that is obviously going to be of grand scale.
So we defend and re-establish another fort, which is far less... Wasn't there a second phase of Zhaitan data mined or something that they scrapped? Or did I miss Muck covering that? Well, if he covers it... I've got my own opinions on how they could fix the Zhaitan fight. I think I might have already told you them in the Discord, though. Interesting the 3rd time round. And we try to rescue Norn Mommy 2.0, only to discover that in our absence, she's... Oh, come on! That was on Twitter! It's been hitting the pipe real hard.
I'm sorry, Mr. 7-foot thickness, whose name I can't remember. But the game is quite literal.
Noxy, please just blow that up.
I had to Google her name. I've killed her 4 separate times. I still had to Google her name. It's Apatia.
Really forcing me to kill you and...
And you know what the dumbest part about this whole murder of Apatia is? Why the fuck does she get a funeral, but Forgel doesn't? Why does Forgel, the old man who's done so much, not get a funeral? But this random fucking one, like Norn, that if you have a conversation, you have one conversation with an Asura, and if you choose the wrong dialogue option, you never learn about Apatia's existence at all. She never exists if you choose the wrong path on the dialogue tree. But somehow she gets a funeral. But Forgel? No.
Hold a funeral for you later.
I'm gonna be honest, it sounds bad because he said whose name I don't remember. I don't remember that character.
Yeah, it's not just me. It's not just me, even him. Even him. His main game is Guild Wars 2 and he can't even remember who this is.
Like, the part of the story he's doing, I played through 10 years ago. I don't recall the character he's talking about right now.
Yeah. But he remembers Tybalt. He remembers Foreskin. But not this one.
It's moments of sadness and loss like these that bring us together to fight under the same banner. Or at least that's what all the NPCs at this funeral that wasn't for told me I should be feeling at this point in time.
Appetite? No, I'm not.
God damn it, he keeps on censoring fucking Forgel's name.
Not hungry, thank you.
Problem that the game devs don't seem to realize is if the model on the character's legs are more well developed than the plot behind them, I just can't bring myself to care aside from maybe...
Listen, it's not a problem that she's bald. You take a plunger, you slap that on the back of her head and you got something to pull on. It's the same thing. You just go to town.
While the body's still warm.
What this all roughly translates to is the idea that we need to stop
Come on, that was a tame joke. Come on. I didn't even say any bad words there.
defending and take the fight to stop before he snatches up another piece of premium. And luckily for us, Blue Widowmaker has a plan. It's just too bad her plan is the exact same plan we've been perfecting up until this point in the MSQ.
Is the Widowmaker already blue?
Chasing.
Isn't she purple?
Chasing down MacGuffins. After spending enough time doing exactly that though, I do bump into some lore-relevant enemies worth murdering. They may have eluded me on first encounter, but what's important is that we finally found a way to start f***ing with Grandpa Zhaitan's oxygen tank. And shockingly, it turns out that he has the exact same weakness as every other person in the retirement village. His soft squishy eyes and his moist little mouth. As is convention in any form of self-
There's a word for like people who like can shoot spit like that out their mouth, and I had to learn that word in order to find that clip. And you know what the worst part is? I've forgotten what that word is. Not projectile vomiting. That's what you do when you play an Asura and you see them start to unequip their pants. Oh well, I've forgotten. It's probably for the best that I've forgotten.
No, Noxy, you heard of all whatever that was.
After his eye by baiting it.
Okay, yeah, no. There's a monster called the Eye of Zhaitan.
Yeah.
And anything it sees goes to Zhaitan. And there's a monster called the Mouth of Zhaitan, and anything it consumes nourishes Zhaitan.
Yeah, because they decided to, to rip off the Lord of the Rings with, the Mouth of Sauron and shit.
Zhaitan. So he's talking about those two. I don't know what that...
God damn it, you had to remind me. Kanzuka, you're right. It's gleek. It's gleeking. Fuck, what? I don't know why. That creeps me the fuck out. That's such a strange fucking word. God damn it.
The heck we just saw a second ago.
That one mirror. I was part of that one quest line that no one remembers or cares about.
I don't
Unfortunately, our trap becomes...
Yeah, you know what? If you watch the first two videos where I allude to that quest line and you completely forgot, I don't blame you. What a dumb, boring quest line that was.
His trap, and he gets the mirror to teleport us to the worst place imaginable.
I saw Germany. What? Germany again, but this time Angela's private basement. I don't know who that is.
This trap, however, is only a delay tactic. Because if you were to try and fight a flamethrower with your eyeballs, guess who wins?
Now all we need to do is just extract some usable information from the... Oh.
It's a good thing that Gore Wars 2 is filled with all this magic and shit, or we'd really be in trouble right about now. As far as I understand it, in this magical world, we can still extract information from the body by reviving it just a little, and through the magical art known as terrorist interrogation.
Did he spot it?
Standardized Asuran magic.
Where we...
Fun fact, I didn't do that on purpose, and then when I rewatched it and realized I fucked up the spelling, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave that there because I'm willing to bet no one's gonna notice. I was like, let's see if anyone noticed. I'm shocked that he did. We hook a live car battery up to its nuts, we can get it to tell us exactly what we want to hear. After a few short rounds of not neglecting the ball, we find out exactly where Zhaitan's mouth has been hiding, and it's being put to work how you'd expect. So we meet up with an even newer Norn Mommy 3.0 who seems to specialize in the proper application of skin-tight yoga pants and get ready to attack.
Hey, do you know what I think would be a really great idea right about?
This is the dumb, this again, these fucking retarded plot points. Why are we sending them in alone to die? We're in enemy territory. We are in awe. Imagine being a US soldier going into Afghanistan and you're like, you know what, we're going to send 3 guys into that village instead of, yo, Obama, ring ring, is that you? Drone strike, please. Yeah, I know it's a hospital full of children. Drone strike that shit. We know you get off on it. Like, come on. This again is one of the dumbest plot points. Why the fuck are they going in there in enemy territory? We could just run through that shit and be done with it.
No.
And we wouldn't lose Cheeks.
Is if we sent Cheeks and a teeny tiny squad into that mansion all alone instead of all just barging in there and making Ruby Ridge look like a fucking joke. What's that? Devs read my mind. I expected nothing less.
At this point, it still fucking upsets my autism that they did this with this. They could have just run us all in at the same time. It was so stupid. I could tell you how good this mansion invasion section is. How neat, clean. And here's the worst part is this mansion section is good. But the underlying, like, plot path is retarded. And tight it all feels, as we're pulled into the zone of polite insanity, where everyone is acting like the outside world doesn't exist, where everything we're seeing is in the suspended state of reality. Ruby Ridge? You don't know Ruby Ridge, El Cieldo? Oh man, you got some Googling to do. With a light illusion cast over it, and whenever we break that illusion, we discover that everyone is actually an undead monstrosity being puppeteered by a discount magician. But instead, I just can't help but notice that this segment of the game is still bangable. Yet another moment where we lose one of our most valuable in-game assets.
I have a question. For God.
Keeps happening.
Why?
It keeps happening. They keep fucking killing the Norn. They keep doing it. The whole time through the base game, they keep killing them. Why? God, kill some Asura, but either please. Way, with the death of Snoo Mountain 3.0, we trade
Snoo Mountain 3.0
evenly and take out the mouth of Zhaitan. This is the turning point moment for my character. And the moment, you see, I lied there. We didn't trade evenly. We didn't trade evenly. I'd rather have our Norn back alive. We didn't trade evenly. That was a loss. I lied there. I didn't catch that. We didn't trade evenly at all. Where the war against the undead really kicks off. We are no longer a joke to the flying disease crocodile who'd been patient. I love the scene where Zhaitan's ass just falls off mid-flight. It's the funniest shit imaginable. Waiting for me to finish all those side quests. Everyone and everything alive is now a threat. Or at least that's what I would say if I wasn't immediately put right back on side quest duty. It's already beyond obvious to me that the main story quest line itself is entirely optional, and that a player could completely ignore it and have a great time hitting max level by just exploring and doing any one of the million random things out in the open world, because everything in the game gives you XP in one form or another. So why would they even bother with this very strange limitation?
I can name everything memorable that's occurred in the main story questline on one hand so far. Death by Snoo, Forgul, Siege Battle. And that's not even neglecting the fact that the Siege Battle was so good that they snuck another 2 in along the way.
But none of... Yeah, Fort Trinity and Claw Island the second time. It's the same thing. It's like, you know when you're good at something, you just keep doing the same thing over and over again? That's exactly what they did. And it was much better than the scene with Traherne's toilet. That really matters right now, because these right here are the last moments of base game Tyria. This is the final build-up to the inevitably awesome first-hand battle with Zhaitan. The side quests eventually end and point us in the direction of the battleground against the unstoppable flying god of undeath. The armies that have been assembled under our banner begin their gruesome march towards the heart of the dragon's forces. The land is treacherous, unstable, and near impassable, and the only way we're getting to that dragon is by air. So we battle our way to a clearing, towards the sky taxi that's going to take us to the ultimate climax of this experience. Our path is blocked by the incoming hordes of undead centaur. Also, again, reinforce my strong point at the very beginning. Undead zombie gorillas. Where the fuck was this the entire time we were playing the game? 3. We encounter 3 of these motherfuckers. And that's it. What a waste of a good model. Away. This is a gasp of panic and fear given form by the dragon, who knows exactly how much danger he's in. This is the calm before the storm, a moment of redemption for some, of reflection for others.
Jenna's feet again.
So I think I had to put this together myself. That image, this whole thing is fine. Putting the foot in, that actually took some effort.
I think right about now is about the perfect time for me to tell you what I really think about the Guild Wars 2 base game experience. Before what's obviously going to be the world's best dragon battle just entirely corrupts my opinion.
Well, and there are some in the ore zones. I saw none of them. I saw none of the undead gorillas. 0. I saw a sum total of 0 in the open world. But that might be because I was distracted by the fact that I had to have another siege battle at Fort Trinity.
And makes me want to say nothing but good things about the game. It kind of goes without saying that this Guild Wars 2 leveling experience has been a rather wild ride and a smattering of both good and enjoyable moments mixed in with quite a few bland ones. There's no numerical rating I can slap on this that's going to explain exactly what this has been to me, what it hasn't been, and what it should have been. The Guild Wars 2 base game mmorpg experience is not...
Is he going to get mad at me for saying this?
Good. But it's not bad either. Much like most other games in this genre, the problem is that the leveling experience of Guild Wars 2 falls deep into the trap of just being an extended game tutorial. You work your way through it, and then...
He's going to get mad at that. I know Guild Wars 2 veterans get mad at that because it's true and it's real and they fucking hate hearing it.
Actually get to play the game only once you've hit max level. And from...
Oh, maybe he won't. Maybe he's going to let that pass. Huh. Didn't expect that.
What little...
Ah, man, I really disagree with that. Because, like, it's totally... I'm not...
I was right the first time. I was right. I thought I cleared it. I thought I cleared it. Nope. Nope. I got him. He was just triggered. He was just triggered and trying to find some mental gymnastics path around the fact that I'm right.
I'm gonna, like, fight him on this point, but I really disagree with it. Like, having compared this to the other MMOs I've played, my first MMO was EverQuest in 2001. And so I've played MMOs on and off for over 20 years. And in most of them, it's like the game begins at max level, right? But in this one, it's like world map completion. You're working on that from level 1.
Yeah, but world map completion is just a thing you do in any game as you walk through it. That's part of the tutorial, is learning how to explore.
That's making progress toward legendary weapons. So the stuff you did at level 1...
Okay, so if you took out the legendary weapons, world map completion doesn't count. That's the point.
1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 25, 30, that contributes toward endgame equipment. Like, it's still helpful. It's still relevant. You know, those hero...
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that's your primary focus. That doesn't detract from the fact that level 1 to level 80 occurs as a tutorial. It is an extended tutorial of the game.
Points you get while you're running around the world at level 15 are still useful to you at 75.
Yeah, they're still useful, but so you go through the tutorial, the very beginning game tutorial, you get to keep the level you gained in that. It's still a tutorial.
Like, the stuff you do at low levels, like, matters. It's not just like, oh, just blitz through it as quick as you can, and then you can start the game at max level. Like, you can do dungeons at lower level. You can do...
You can do dungeons. Can you do fractals? I'll give him this. You can do PvP at any point in time. As an 18k hour veteran, you're completely correct, except that what he's talking about isn't the disagreement you think it is. You'll need to explain.
PvP in 1v World at lower level, and it'll scale you, stuff like that. I feel like among all the MMOs I personally have played, Guild Wars 2 is the one with the least amount of end game is the beginning of the game.
I disagree. It's fine that he feels that way. And I understand why he feels that way on a more serious note. But this is what I see. This is my observation. This is my unfiltered dog shit opinion. Here is base game. You get a specialization set. The really, really good specializations after you've learned how the abilities work, you know, scrapper, all the fun shit, that's only after you've gone past 80, right? All the content, the fractals, the mounts, everything else is after level 80. Sure, you can experience the PvP here, right? But are you really going to be the guy, if you're level 30, are you really going to be the guy beating the brakes off a fucking scrapper when you have no idea what's going on? Are you the guy that's going to be taking out a Deadeye? Probably not. All of this serves to teach you how the game's going to work when you get to fractals, how the game's going to work when you get to raids, how the game's going to work when hopefully the story starts to improve. You get to 80 and you have 90% or more of the entire game's content occurring after you hit level 80. This 10% is you have 10 abilities, learn how to use them. Oh, by the way, here's another specialization. Oh, by the way, this is how different sets of the world work. Oh, by the way, and now you can figure out how to queue up with other people and you're not going to look like a complete retard. And I can understand why people disagree with me on this point, because when you're going through the base game experience, there are things you can do that feel like active progression. But you're not really aware of that until after level 80 and you figured out what the fuck you're doing. That's the problem. You figure out how the fuck the game works after level 80. Before that, 99% of the time you're pressing buttons. You're figuring out, okay, this is my heal. Okay, that when my health bar hits that level, that's when I should heal. Oh, this dodge button? Shit. I can't believe I'm level 45 and I haven't hit the dodge button once. I skipped the dodge tutorial. Right? I 100% understand why people disagree with that. But this is my observation. There is so much content here after 80 that this just looks like the beginning. This looks like strapping your shoes on, not sprinting. And one of the ways, I genuinely think this, one of the ways that I think that Guild Wars 2 could actually fix this is if they took some of this content, right, like maybe Heart of Thorns, Living Worlds, all of those things, if they took some of those expansion stuff and allowed you to start doing it at maybe level 40, maybe level 50, maybe level 60, and sure, you can use your scaling mechanics to make it more fair and balanced and whatever else, but almost all of the game is after 80. It's one of the downsides of a horizontal progression system, but if I'm gonna look at this objectively, I do still think it is a better system than what you'd find in most other MMORPGs. But from my perspective, if I go to Starbucks and I order the diarrhea water that they call coffee, and I go to a bespoke coffee shop and I go order the best fucking coffee I've ever had in my life, it's still both coffee. It's just different variants of coffee. Hold on, there's a paragraph here I need to read by Edgar Allan Poe, Supergod. Hold on, levels 1 to 80 is a giant tutorial for the game. Absolutely, no debate. and the game does not truly start post 80. However, the experience you learn in that leveling experience is so damn valuable. But that's the point of a tutorial, Super God, is yes, it's supposed to be. A tutorial is supposed to be valuable, because by the time you get to the end point of the tutorial, you should at least know the fundamentals of what you're doing. And the problem is, so here's a big problem all MMORPGs have. This is not unique or special or only the thing that only ever happens in Guild Wars 2, right? This happens across all MMOs, right? The leveling experience, right? There is a chasm between leveling and end game content. It's like the uncanny valley, right? And once you've passed that uncanny valley, only then are you really playing the game, right? But the leveling experience is treated as this almost separate chunk from everything else that the game has to offer. And this happens in WoW, this happens in RuneScape, this happens in New World, this happens in Final Fantasy from what I've seen. It happens everywhere. I genuinely believe there has to be a design mechanism where you can better integrate leveling into the remainder of the world than what we currently have. But I also understand that this MMORPG came out like 12 to 13 years ago. 14 years ago at this point. After leveling to 80, it's then time to level masteries. Exactly. It's only like, it's like you get to level 80 and only then are you focusing on like significant progression of your character. Everything prior to that is not significant progression because your personal story falls off. You've only just barely figured out how to swap between different specializations and talent trees and all of that stuff, and you only get like better specializations. They feel objectively better. And I would drop kick an Asuran baby if I could get a hold of the Scrapper specialization at like level 45 or something like that. But I also understand why people don't feel the same as me. Also, Faricho and Cognizant, thank you for the follow-up. I appreciate it. Sorry, I was a bit slow on that. You're missing, Muck is saying, and Muck is missing what you said. Okay, let's listen to it again then. Is that the leveling experience of Guild Wars and from what...
man, I really disagree with that. Because, like, it's totally... I'm not going to, like, fight him on this point, but I really disagree with it. Like, having compared this to the other MMOs I've played, my first MMO was EverQuest in 2001. And so I've played MMOs on and off for over 20 years. And in most of them, it's like the game begins at max level, right? But in this one...
That's fair. EverQuest is worse, much worse than Guild Wars 2 at this, which is fair.
It's like world map completion. You're working on that from level 1.
Yeah, but you're not focusing on that. Okay, so I understand what he's saying about progression, but that's not your primary focus. That's not your content focus.
That's making progress toward legendary weapons. So the stuff you did at level 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 25, 30, that contributes toward endgame equipment. Like, it's still...
Yeah, but that's the same as the way leveling up contributes towards you getting towards the end game. Also, thanks for the follow, Achura MMO. Achura. I hope I'm saying that right. Muck is saying the maps and content that you go through still matter, and you go back to them. Yeah, but that's the same thing I'm saying, right? Is that a tutorial matters. Learning about the game matters, right? But it's not your primary focus. In any MMORPG, they design the leveling experience as completely mutually exclusive from the endgame content. And there's not much crossover. That's the issue. If you had an MMORPG where you could be a level 5 and go into a raid with a level 50, right? That would be pretty fucking awesome, I think. But I understand that they design things where it's, here's the leveling system, big barrier, here's the rest of the content after you reach endgame.
Still helpful. It's still relevant. You know, those hero points you get while you're running around the world at level 15 are still useful to you at 75.
I could argue the same about WoW. I could say that the talent points you get while you're leveling up are still valuable to you once you hit level 80 and respec.
Like, the stuff you do at low levels, like, matters. It's not just like, oh, just blitz through it as quick as you can, then you can...
Yeah, but that's every tutorial. Every tutorial matters. That's what I'm saying. The tutorial still matters. But it is still a tutorial.
Start the game at max level. Like, you can do dungeons at lower level. You can do...
You can do dungeons. Can you do fractals? Can you do raids? Can you do Heart of Thorns? Can you do any of the expansion content? Can you fly a dragon? Does that become a part of the main content you experience going through the game? Does that become the primary content focus? No, it doesn't.
You know, PvP and World v World at lower level, and it'll scale you, stuff like that. I feel like among all the MMOs I personally have played, Guild Wars 2 is the one with the least amount of end game is the beginning of the game. That's just how.
Maybe it's because there's been multiple expansions released, but I honestly feel like nothing I did, none of the gear I got was at all significant whatsoever by the time I hit level 80. The only thing that mattered was learning how my abilities worked. Learning the core mechanics of the game so that when I get to 80 and I go into a fractal, I'm only half the retard I would otherwise be.
How I feel about it.
Well, I can tell. From
I'm not mad at him for disagreeing with me. That's fine. I have no problem with people disagreeing with me on that point.
The expansions beyond this point, that's just been unavoidable to me. I can see why so many people just keep saying the line to me. Keep playing. It gets better, bro. Once you've hit max level, just get into the expansion, which I usually tell
people when they ask if they should get the expansions, I say,
get them.
Did you like Guild Wars 2? And they're like, if they say yes, I'm like, okay, it's more Guild Wars 2. You know,
I disagree. From everything I've seen, it's not more Guild Wars 2, it's better Guild Wars 2. I disagree because I think from everything I've seen, the cutscenes, the trailers, the raids people have done, I think it's actually better Guild Wars 2 after the base game. It's like you have to eat your way through a pile of shit before you get to the good stuff. And this is wishful thinking. This is never gonna happen. I know this is fucking pie in the sky, but if they could somehow go and rework the base game to be as good as one of the expansions, I think it would be far more significant and it would have a higher player retention.
If you didn't like it before, the expansions are not going to change that. But if you liked it before, you're going to love the expansions because it's more.
That's another point I disagree with, because I've heard people continually tell me that they fucking hated the leveling experience, and then they played Heart of Thorns, or they played one of the Living Worlds, and then they fucking loved the game. I've heard the opposite from people. People saying, like, God damn it, it gets so much better. I just had to push my way through the pile of shit first.
The only exception to that is if the expansions offer an elite class that offers a new way of playing that appeals to you. Example, I don't like Core Engineer. I love my Scrapper and my Mechanist.
See?
Half the fun...
See, but you need to go through the Core Engineer experience, so by the time you get to the specialization you want, you already have some conception of how these work. Personally, I think the base game hasn't aged really well. Expansions are better because they learned from their mistakes. Look, I genuinely think, like, even if you hate some of the expansions in Guild Wars 2, I'm willing to bet even the bad ones are probably at least 20% better than the base game.
fun of these games is, do you enjoy playing your character? And if there's an elite spec that really gives you that enjoyment, then I could see that. Like, oh, Path of Fire made the game so much better for me. And it's like, well, no.
Damn it, Wojciech had a point and I missed his fucking comment and I can't remember it. God damn it. Wojciech, if you're still here, like, you post it again. I'll read it. You had a point and I missed it. Damn it.
Path of Fire gave Firebrand, and you're a Firebrand main, so you love that. You know, that kind of thing.
Just write off as a copium-filled cop-out of the chair dwellers who've tied their identity far too closely to a game they enjoy playing. But it does hold a kernel of truth to it. And if someone were to ask me, what were MMORPGs like back in the early 2010s, with a little bit of hand-holding and a lot of variety, the only real answer I could give them is to go and play the base game of Guild Wars 2. This is just one of the most...
That right there is also why I'm scared if they ever try and update Guild Wars 2.
Most well-preserved pieces of MMORPG history that's still in a playable state even to this day. There's no need to go cobble and pirate together some private experience for a game that's dead, because this one just isn't. There's plenty to enjoy about this game. And
it's true. Just a year or two ago, I think it was when... was it when End of Dragons came out? Is it either End of Dragons or Soto? They released their player numbers and they had broken their old all-time high player count.
How old is Soto? God damn! Shit, I thought that must have been like 2017. Fuck me, 2023? And they're breaking their population counts? That's not bad. Shit. God fucking damn. That's not that far, like, Jesus. That's fucking impressive for a game this old. That's actually really impressive.
Plenty that could have been a lot better. And that's kind of the reason she's so memorable to me. She might be old and busted up. She might ramble on with a story that makes no sense, like an escaped mental patient in your local...
This useless bitch here on the right. God damn it. Fuck that guy.
McDonald's. She might very well be stuck in a graphical state that can only be improved upon so much due to engine constraints and age, but it's all those flaws that end up making her such a beautiful game, even now in her declining years.
Some MMOs age like milk, others like a... You know I'm right. Yeah, you know what the best part about this game is? Right here. Right?
Even now in her declining years.
Some MMOs... The amount of cope that exists for this game right here, when you tell them their game is bad, you will see the purest of rage. You will see a demon of corn manifest in your fucking room if you tell them that Ion is not the great game that it should have been. They get so fucking angry about it. It's really impressive. They're like, no, it's a good game. Fuck you. I'm like, okay, really? Then why does it only have 2 players? What? Why is the biggest server like 300 people? They get so fucking mad about it. Why are they releasing Ion Classic if Ion's fine? Yeah, that's what I thought. Aged like milk, others like a fine wine. This one aged like the grease you'll find at the bottom of a crack pipe. All it takes is... That's why I had to replace it with generic clips.
I have not had enough experiences with narcotics to understand that metaphor.
Is if you can find that spark. So it made more sense the first time round because it had Hunter with a crack pipe, and as I say, that spark within yourself, he's like lighting it up, like he starts a lighter. I was so fucking mad that I couldn't use that. Of wonder within yourself, and you might just end up still having a great time.
This is not the neat, clean...
Jesus, what is this? Someone tell me...
That's Throne and Liberty after you pay enough money to get into some of the raids.
What this game is. I don't know what I'm looking at right now. Good God.
Psychologically optimized game that's been built by a bunch of bumbling idiots in a...
That's Throne and Liberty? Holy crap. Can you turn off the HP bars?
Backroom who can't help
like good lord
think to themselves, now how do we go about fundamentally and soullessly changing everything we care about so that we can hop on a trend and release a game that's going to die within the next 5 minutes.
But rather by a bunch of nerds with a game engine and a dream. And maybe they couldn't, at the time, figure out how to add in all the mechanics that they wanted to, the way they wanted to. Maybe they had apparently the latest Final Fantasy expansion was so bad, even the Japanese fans are pissed. Well, I mean, I don't blame them, right? Final Fantasy is like an alternative to WoW in a lot of senses, from what little I've played of that game. It is fucking insane how much story is in it, and I can imagine people getting really fucking mad if things aren't at the same level of quality or higher as it moves further into the future. Clue how to seamlessly integrate dialogue moments into the scenes of the world around them, and sometimes maybe they couldn't.
Alright, so what he means there is in the base game, and maybe some after that, when there's conversations between people, you often see it like this.
It's really bad. It's like, I've heard that this goes away, this like dialogue scene, and I'm so looking forward to this evaporating forever, because it's like watching two kids in a high school play where they stand there stiff as a fucking board, staring at each other, yelling Shakespeare lines at each other.
And
I'm
person
so looking
A,
forward to
person
this being
B,
gone.
and then just kind of like a pastel thing going on in the background. But later on, they stopped using that technique.
Scenes of the world around them, and sometimes maybe they couldn't write a story good enough to save their own innocent mother from the electric chair, and left their wiki. It's true. To make up the difference.
It's true.
But
Hey, look, I'll be the first to say there's some parts of the Guild Wars 2 story that I'm just like, oh my god, that was freaking amazing. And there's other parts I'm like, I could have done without this, you know? Like, there's parts I don't love either, but that was very heavy-handed.
Hold on, I love that system because it can be skipped. Now they have hour-long exposition dumps that can't be skipped. Oh, that's okay. So they took one problem, Relantis, and they replaced it with another problem. That's beautiful. You know, it would be fine if characters were talking in the background and you were still doing something while they were talking, but if you have to sit there through an explanation and they like spend 4 years telling you that a rock is purple because some magic was cast upon it by a mesmer once upon a time, that's gonna piss me off even more than the Shakespeare and the park shit going on here.
Just can't help but end up respecting what they've built here. The bones of this game are pretty solid, but they're also not bones that everyone is gonna enjoy, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's one of the reasons I think this game still has a player base and why people still enjoy playing it, myself included. This might be a game that's trying to have everything in it, but it's also not one of those games that's
the
built
fractal guy
for everyone. Oh yeah.
Why didn't we just get that big stone statue to fight the dragon, huh? Why not teleport us into big stone statues so we can fist fight the dragon? Like he's an iguana that got uppity in a pet exhibit. Could have done that real easy.
And one more thing. Since this is the end, I think now's about the right time for me to let you in on a little secret. If you've been paying attention this entire time through this video series, you may have noticed a little bit of a theme. Because you see, I've been lying to you.
Julie Nathanson now being the new. I had such a better idea for this, and this whole liar section, as I was going through the videos, didn't actually play out as well as I wanted it to. I'll have to get better at this shit.
Player that I am.
And I'd be lying to you again. Now is about the time for me to really apologize to you because I lied again.
I think I've been lied to.
I've been lying to you since the very beginning, and not a single one of you indicated to me that you'd seen through my ruse at all. You just sat there.
I think I also made it too obvious. I said no one indicated it to me, but that doesn't mean that no one figured it out.
In your optimal C-shaped gamer pose,
And then you have to sit for 40 minutes and listen to it again for every single alt. Just like this unskippable TTF
up that I fed to you. I said
C-shaped gamer pose, sitting like a scampi.
So many times that
I had the perfect image for that as well, and YouTube blocked it.
Base game story and lore that you're going to come across is just not worth paying attention to. And to make matters more confusing for you, I even lied in all the comments I put under the video about how much I knew about the game itself, just to keep that illusion going. See, the reality is that your personal character story might range from absolutely boring as all hell to fantastic, but the main world itself, the world building, is incredibly good. Because I know...
I'm serious when I say this. Without using the wiki whatsoever, as I leveled multiple characters, I was able to figure out and piece together components of the Guild Wars 2 story just from the base game alone. And I thought it was fucking fantastic that I could do that. But you really have to be paying attention and not just blitz your way through content in order to figure that out.
It gets so much fucking worse in the latest expansion.
God, I swear to God, I'm gonna turn off the TTS.
That talks slower than the Ents from Lord of the Rings. And he is everywhere.
God damn it. That's gonna fuck me off. That's gonna give me real suicidal thoughts. I'm gonna, you know what, I'm complaining about the dialogue scenes. I'm probably gonna wish they were back. This is exactly like when I thought that the stagger mechanic in New World was bad until they removed it, and then I was like, fuck, this is even worse.
Toe on Queen Jenna's bare, unwashed feet that Logan got to suck on in exchange for letting his friend Snaff die at the hands of the Dragon Kralkatorek. I know that the humans in Guild Wars 2 are really just illegal border-hopping immigrants.
I feel like he learned half of this from my videos responding to his videos.
I didn't, but I had to kind of like be dodgy about this and lie about how much I knew so that I could keep the illusion going. I wanted it to be a bigger reveal, but obviously it didn't play out as well as I hoped it would. I think there was something I learned from Mukluk. It wasn't about the humans. It was something to do with the Asura. I just can't remember exactly what it is.
Who didn't even bring any decent recipes across the dimensions when they came to visit. And I know exactly why the nightmare exists.
But there's ultimately a reason why it's for papaya smashing, if you want to know why the nightmare exists. It's because Mom didn't like lesbians. And Faolain thought differently about that. How far are you in the game at the moment? I've done the Christmas events a few times, and I want to do like Living World Season 1 and continue onwards from that every Wednesday on my stream from now on.
Lied to you the way I did. The leveling experience that you might get going from 1 to 80 is worth experiencing firsthand for yourself, even if just once. And undoubtedly, you'll likely have a different one than I did. Truthfully, you don't need some YouTube...
I want to see if he spots it. I did something very specific in the scene, right? To dunk on myself. I want to see if he spots it.
...or streamer telling you how you should or shouldn't be playing this game.
Wait.
Yeah, he spotted it.
You don't need some YouTuber or streamer telling...
Yeah, there we go. He spotted it. Yeah.
...you how you should or shouldn't be playing this game. You don't need some ultra-optimized best start guide to get going. You don't even need the Guild Wars 2.
You can skip Season 2 unless you want to experience boredom in con. I have to experience it all. I want to experience it all. Boredom, what's good, what's bad, all of it.
Wiki. But what you might just need is a push in the right direction. A gentle nudge to let you know that this game still exists. And hey, base game's free, so you might as well try it out. And if it turns out that this game is just not for you, then there's nothing wrong with that either. But at least you can say that you gave it a first-hand try in order to figure that out.
It's true.
All jokes aside.
Just to plus one what he said, the base game is free, and it goes all the way to maximum level. Basically, the entire base game, as it existed when the game launched, which does go to maximum level, is free to play.
God damn it, look at these fucking comments here. Look at these fucking little bitches. Oh, you need the wiki. No, you don't. You don't need the wiki. The wiki actually makes it so easy to figure everything out that you almost don't end up playing the game, you end up reading the fucking wiki. You don't need the wiki. Apply 4 of the 5 brain cells you have, and you will figure out the story just playing the game. The wiki is extra. You don't need the wiki.
Play. So you can put in like 100 hours before you spend a penny on an expansion if you wish to just try it with, risk-free.
I hope that I've at least managed to convey that message to you, that this game is at least worth trying out for yourself. Because one day, this game might just be gone forever. But I think, at least for now...
I should have extended that fade.
Oh, that's enough of me trying to emotionally manipulate you into playing this game. It's time to go fight a dragon.
console gaming time.
I'm not sure what he means by that.
Spoiler.
But Rose, the most Guild Wars 2 players have only 2 brain cells. That's fine. Get a friend and he can suck you off while you do it, and it'll just take you twice as long. That's okay. It's okay.
I warned y'all about Zhaitan spoilers from the beginning.
God, imagine a game being 14 fucking years old and you get mad that you get spoilers. You know, I never understood spoilers because I don't give a fuck about the end result. I want to figure out how things got there.
Good shot.
You spoiled the Destiny video. It's in the journey of the suck. This is the 100% accurate Zhaitan battle, by the way. None of this footage is doctored. This is the original, actual footage from the game. If you go up to that turret, it says press F to win. That's what it says.
You just reached up, presses it once. What's he gonna say after that?
This is how I felt.
The handshaking.
Wow. What an unfathomably, irredeemable, gigantic pile of shit.
I wonder if he skips the song. Okay, based on this, I don't think he skips the song. He's probably got some exposition there I can yell at him for.
No, I can't read any of it. Hang on. What did he say?
And ironically, when I started editing this video together, it was 5 hours long.
I literally cut out over 2 whole hours of me ranting about how miserably bad this fight was just so I could make this cut here and not lose whatever remains of my sanity to the pure garbage that this encounter was for a finale boss encounter.
I also felt like that one line of just calling it an irredeemable pile of shit is better than me bitching for 2 hours. Because there's just no better way to explain it than that.
It was so bad, I made a song about it. You'll find attached to the end of this video. Oh no. I did this to prevent myself from having a stroke caused by the immeasurable levels of disappointment in that ending. Hope you enjoyed.
As always, big thank to my
Oh no, isn't this the judge that got tackled?
subscribers, both old and new. Okay, does Noxy skip this part? Noxy's not gonna skip it.
Hey! Dude, I think that guy got life in prison after that. He magnified.
You know how many AI images I've seen of a black man flying through a courtroom? After this video was released, it was magical. I loved it. It was such a good time. Just some black dude in a Superman uniform flying through the middle of a courtroom. It was the best time.
His sentence.
And a special thank to the Bad Dragon Deletion Super. Warframe is far worse when it comes to shitty tutorials. Yeah, you're not wrong. So good department who stuck with me this long in hopes of me ever getting this video out. Also, by the way, I got somehow this got past the YouTube censorship. These people in the background are beating each other up with sex toys out before the final launch of Ash.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Does he actually? What does he call his patrons? One sec. What? Oh, hey, it's me. What's up?
I've got stupid fucking names. I got like a really fucking stupid names for my patrons and stuff. I need to fix that. I'm thinking about classifying like different levels of the Patreon as different mental illnesses. And I need to revamp my entire Patreon because it's just a fucking mess right now.
Where is that it? Hang on. I want to see the tiers.
They're trash. They're trash.
Tier 1 is King Degenerate. King 2 is the Normie Emperor. King 3 is Monster God. Okay, all right. Now he made that up. That's not what he calls his community.
Yeah,
of
I need to
creation
make it
in
better.
2099. One day I'll fix.
Oh, vegan. That that is a top tier mental illness, Wojciech. I might just use that. I'm gonna steal that from you probably.
It's up the Patreon just for you.
It's gonna be like bipolar, schizophrenic, vegan.
You guys. Anyway, more content soon. Bye.
Okay, he doesn't skip the song. Do you want to hear the song or should we skip it?
Alright, he said he had a custom song about how bad this was. Oh god.
In a darkened room, flickering light.
There was a child in that frame. That child should be asleep, not watching my videos. Get them the fuck out of here, Mukluk. This is a bad time for them. Get them out of here. They don't need to see that. They're gonna grow up fucked up because of you.
Unready for the fight. The dragons fall with each piss beat flare. These fucking dragons ain't nothing rare.
Did he get AI?
You know, if I really wanted to be a bastard, I should have changed those beams into like yellow ones as well.
To make this? Oh my god.
Yes, I did.
Sitting here, keyboard in my hand, in a world filled with care but no real plan. Blasting this through the dragon's land.
Moving a bit so we
Every
can see
boss
Rose.
fight just feels so bland.
Literally, this whole boss fight is just tapping the F key when you're near that thing. It's the dumbest shit imaginable.
Sitting here, keyboard in my hand, in a world filled with care but no real plan.
Evan Nashblade's birthday spam.
Dragon's land. Every boss fight just feels so bland.
And that right there is why the Zhaitan fight is the dumbest shit imaginable. Full suspension of disbelief. If he could do that to one airship and feel nothing, why didn't he just do that to the second one?
I'm pissing on dragons with a cold board.
So Jaffa's YouTube has a deep dive into the Guild Wars 2 bots, investigative journalist style. I'll probably take a look at that.
Gaze's main quest just don't amaze. Boring battles, mechanics uninspired. Longing for a fight that gets me fired.
I felt like crying at this point because I had been through the Zhaitan fight for this scene specifically. I think this must have been my 9th run through of this fight, and fuck, it was so hard to not like to keep my eyes open and care.
I'm pissing on dragons with a cold board gaze. This main quest just don't amaze. Boring battles, mechanics uninspired. Longing for a fight that gets me fired.
See that? That right there? That's flying bullshit right there. He flies right the fuck past, does nothing, and then leaves. I smell bullshit.
In the old days, we'd wield our
Oh wait, my name's over there. I just realized.
Let us kick some ass. Now it's just an interact key on a glowing screen, missing away magic in a shitty cutscene. Every dragon pissed down the same garbage concepts. No heart, no soul, just sloppy content. We used to dream of fire and scales, but now it just feels like another piss trail.
The song that plays after you beat him is the only good part of the whole. You're not wrong. The song in For Trinity is good.
Gaze's main story quests just don't amaze. Boring battles, dragons uninspired. Longing for a fight that doesn't feel dry and tired. I'm pissing on dragons with a cold board gaze.
I'm glad you enjoyed that, Frank.
That was his first reaction to it.
This was actually my last reaction to it. My first reaction was much worse.
Boring battles, dragons uninspired. Longing for a fight that doesn't feel dry and tired.
Man, this was... As a 5-man dungeon instance, even that would be sloppy. This whole fight is f***ing trash. It doesn't matter if there's people around you experiencing the trash with you, it's just a bad f***ing fight. It's poorly constructed. He's laughing because he knows I'm right.
No more.
Oh, Christ.
We have succeeded.
That's the end. So, real quick, I want to add there was a model for Zhaitan that was data mined years and years ago, where he was
okay, so this is the thing you were talking about, Ashura.
Like on the ground, like buried in rubble. And a lot of people that have played the game for a long time think that they intended, when the game came out, that there was going to be a phase 2 on the ground. And then they just...
There fucking should have been.
Just never finished it.
Bare minimum there should have been.
Like, you shoot him down, he lands, he's crippled, and then you get down on the ground and you fight phase 2 on the ground. But that never happened. Now, an idea that I have said before, and I'll say it again, is that we could, in a semblance, fix the story. And
you could?
I'm going to take this chance to put this in here once again. We have got the scrying pool now. The scrying pool...
They thought the dungeon was long enough as it is. Syro, you know what? I've actually, I'm gonna tell you how to fix the Zhaitan fight after this. I want to see what Mukluk's solution to this is, but I've got a perfect way to fix the Zhaitan fight and add new content at the same time.
Pool is effectively World of Warcraft's Caverns of Time. It allows you to go back in time and do missions in the past, and it doesn't screw up the timeline and things like that. You know, you can go back and you can be Ryland during the Warband days and stuff like that. We could easily make you could 5-man fractal, 10-man strike, whatever, where you use the scrying pool and do the proper ending of the Zhaitan story. And by doing it that way, they don't have to touch the spaghetti code. And all they would need to do is, you know, like the commander shoots the dragon down, you go into the thing, and it changes you to look like someone else. Just like in the fractals, where you go in and it changes your appearance to look like somebody else. And basically, you're the B team. All right? And B team would see the dragon come down toward them, and they would see the damaged ship, and they would say something like, the ship's damaged. We can't count on the commander's forces for help right now.
Yeah, the ship's damaged. We can't count on the commanders. Let's sacrifice a bunch of Norn women. Because the dev is still dealing with the trauma of being rejected by a woman over 7 feet tall.
Alone. You know, so just some bit of lore there to basically say, like, no one's coming to help us. And then they fight what's left of Zhaitan on the ground. They finish it, and then maybe add, like, a memorial to Lion's Arch for the B team, because they don't make it at the end. Like, you could do something like that.
So that sounds like what you said in my Discord, Ashura.
You could basically fix the fight. You don't touch the spaghetti code that they're afraid to touch, because that was, from 10 plus years ago. The people that made that code, most of them don't even work there anymore. And it would be so much better. Let's see. Castor says, would you pay for an expansion that revisits the story and fixes certain moments like Zhaitan and for the love of...
I think Super gave it. Oh, was it Super who said it? Because that sounds exactly what Super said.
Of God Champions. Yes. I don't know that
That's not bad, but I think I've got a better idea.
Everybody would, though. But the thing is it doesn't have to be a whole expansion. Like, it could just be a strike mission that comes with an expansion. Example, in a recent expansion, there was the Battle for Lion's Arch. Old Lion's Court strike was added, right? So that was an old moment in the story that was added as a current day strike mission. Stuff like that, when they were redoing Living World Season 1. So they could totally add that and just be like, hey, you know, instead of a strike mission where you fight Saris and a strike mission where you fight Dagda, in this expansion, there will be one strike mission related to the current content and one expansion related to how Zhaitan was supposed to end. And then they would just need to go back, and when you finish the MSQ, you would get a prompt telling you about that mission, because you know, they need to tie it in somewhere. But because I have heard so many major people, most recently was Rose, before that was Preach, and I've been saying that, you know, they need to go back and fix the Zhaitan fight for, you know, years, but that would be a way that I feel like they could go back and do it if they choose to. Don't know if they're going to, but if they...
They never will. This is all pie in the sky, wishful thinking. They never will touch this. There's no point.
Choose to.
So like to tie loose ends.
Huh?
So like to tie loose ends.
Yeah. Yeah, but I definitely feel like that moment is like, yeah, I love this game. I love this freaking game. I've made so much content for this game because I really enjoy it, but that is a embarrassing moment.
Oh, disgusting. Imagine loving your job. Ugh.
Moment about this game. And it's always such a shame when people get to that moment, although it does lead to funny videos like this. All right, well, that was Rose's newest video, why everyone loves Guild Wars 2.
Get your child out the room when I'm making racist jokes, goddammit.
Glad he enjoyed himself. It was a very good watch. Glad y'all recommended it. As always, the links to the video are down below. If you didn't listen to me when I said to watch it earlier, you can go there and watch it now and see it in its unfiltered goodness, in case we had to bleep anything out. And you'll be sure to subscribe to his channel if you like his content. It's good stuff.
Okay.
But yeah. Thank you, Rose, for making it. I'm glad you got a chance to visit Tyria. If you choose to continue your adventures,
I will.
My hands down, slam dunk, no contest favorite part of the story is Living World Season 4. There were 3 moments in Living World Season 4
that a lot.
that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up, just in terms of writing. Just mind-bogglingly good. And
so now it's my duty to shit on those parts as much as possible.
I would love for you to experience those if you decide to go that far.
Okay, good video. I like that. Okay, the content Centipede is now complete. But I think there's something better that can be done with the Zhaitan fight. So I'm going to explain it like this.